Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. Rats off to you.
Wow.
KZ Excellent.
I'm going to name him Roundy.
And Mr. Feel.
Quotation.
Here on GigaBoots.
Bark, bark. How you doing?
That is the last time we get to say rats off to you.
Yeah, because nobody's ever going to think about Tom Goes to the Narrative ever again.
I know. Unless.
Do people even know the name of that game besides us?
No, there in fact were people who showed up to that stream mad that wasn't the actual name of that game.
Yeah, I know. The way you kept to it, I'm like, it's going to ruin people.
Not as much as that game ruined me.
Oh, no!
Yes, that's right. We played As Dusk Falls, the game we keep referred to as a completely different name.
Our name's better, whatever.
Our name is better. As Dusk Falls is, one, a terrible name. Two, a terrible name for that game.
Yeah, it has basically nothing to do with that game in any way.
There is literally no part of that game that I think that could symbolize, and I'm being generous. I'm like, could it mean... No.
There is a chapter where dusk is happening. Like it's transitioning from day to night.
Uh-huh.
That's it. That's as close as we're getting.
Oh, man.
Does it fall?
Was it an important chapter?
No.
Of course it wasn't.
I think the next chapter was way more important.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Tom Goes to Narrative is a David Cage-like. It is made by former Quantic Dream staff. And instead of making fancy 3D graphics, which is hard and expensive, they how do you put this? They literally made Tom Goes to the Mayor.
Yeah, they took pictures of actors and then painted over them with a filter from Photoshop.
Yeah, they're like, and it looks automated. Like, it's not like they hand painted the
No.
It doesn't look like they hand painted the stills. Sometimes it just looks like a still.
Yeah, if it's zoomed out enough, it is mistakable.
Yeah,
for sure.
because the slight filter they have on it just gets lost if you're zoomed out even slightly. It's nonstop throughout their game. So you're making decisions that'll cause important things all throughout.
Mm-hmm.
People who are listening don't get to see the quotation marks I threw up. It doesn't... Okay, let me put it this way. This game, and this is spoilers in as much as it's spoilers about the length of this game. This game is split up into 2 books, each of which has 3 chapters, the chapters of which follow mostly 2 parallel storylines. And once you exit book 1, where I feel like all of the important things happen, you enter book 2, where there's one interesting storyline that has a little bit of filler itself, and a parallel storyline per chapter that's terrible.
Yeah, the parallel story in each one is literally filler.
There's a person... If you see our viewer icon, which I will briefly change to the incorrect layout so that way you can see it. There you go, in the lower right. Looks kind of like Steven Universe. That person's story is completely useless.
That doesn't surprise me.
That is the worst part of that game because it had no ramifications on anything.
Yeah, I told you nothing about any character you didn't already know about.
It affects one thing in the main story. And it's like, you spent too much time with this character that had no real impact for this to be the thing.
I think we should point out, unlike a David Cage game, it isn't randomly racist or bigoted.
Right. So that's weird.
Right? It's very weird.
From what I saw, though, it had like that sort of David Cage energy of like the person who wrote this has never spoken to a real human being. They've only seen movies and television.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
It definitely is that.
Like the whole plot thread with like the criminal family in the southwest town feels like that exactly.
100%.
Yeah, no, it's weird that there's so many similarities.
Finding out the director of this was in some way involved in Ghost of Tsushima, another game with a terrible story. is like, wow, you really like lined them all up here.
In this game, you play as main character Tom, obviously, because that's who goes to the mayor. He has a different name. All of chat agreed it is not his name. Tom is his name now. God damn it! So Tom in this game, he goes through a lot of struggles. You know, he goes to check in at a hotel. There's some interfamily strife. You know, there's some drama. There's a cloud hanging over the whole situation. You don't know exactly what's going on until you hit the cut guard.
No!
It was amazing.
Man, they're filling up the R award season.
It was truly incredible hitting the moment in that game where it's just like, of course it's about this.
Yeah.
Our schlubby white guy protagonist is being cheated on. Of course it's about this. Of course. So for people who haven't watched the Detroit Let's Play on GigaBoots, we seem to be pretty good at threading the needle on a lot of these types of games and getting this exact right course of action, where when we finished the Detroit Let's Play, the question people asked on part 1, I wonder how many times they die as this character. I'm like, you can die? I didn't know that was a thing in this game. And I think we did the same with our main character here.
Yeah.
Because we put that bitch in her place. And we gave her the slightest amount of hope we would take her back, and then ultimately didn't. It was amazing. Absolute redemption arc. And it was good because we played the line. We were exactly in the middle. It could have gone either way. But we played the line so that way, you know, we let her know, maybe you have to earn it. But then we're like, okay, let's test out this Twitch gets to choose feature. And we go back to the important moment.
Yeah.
And chat chooses the because this is full Renegade. In this one dialogue choice, we were like playing the middle to sort of, you know, dagger along. Chat goes full Renegade. And he looks at his wife and he goes, "You're not the woman I married. You just look like her." And storms out of the room. And I'm like, oh my God.
fucking Tom Chad moment.
It was pretty fucking great. And so that happens in the first fourth of the game, and everything's down from there.
Yes. As soon as we stop following Tom, the game gets a lot worse.
It is really funny how you guys would get to the end of every segment and be like, wow, look how it branches into a million paths in the middle and then shrinks all the way back down to 1 at the end.
Yep.
Or 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really tragic how it keeps doing that. And so, like, you'll have things really far down the line sort of influenced by a middle part earlier on, but we don't know how meaningfully. Only a couple of them were pretty big. And those seem to be in book 2.
And that does a really frustrating thing of, oh man, you can get these characters to survive, and then they exit the story anyway. They're just like immediately gone.
Yeah, so let me put it this way. And
the
this
BioWare legacy lives on, baby.
Of course.
Let me put it this way. This is not spoilersy. You will go through a trying moment. And if you succeed in this trying moment, you might just barely save someone. And then I shit you not, 10 minutes later, they'll leave the game forever. Yes. And it's so upsetting. It's like, so all of that was... Okay. So we got to experience this in the weirdest way possible. We succeeded in saving a person I didn't even know you could lose.
Right. Because the way that we lose them is so random.
Yeah, it's just a, butterfly effect thing.
Yeah.
So we save this person, and then their story goes nowhere. And we're like, whatever happened to such and such? Why did they just get dropped like fucking a hot potato? And then you find out, because they could have died.
Right.
I'm like, fucking awesome, dude. I feel so rewarded. So that's it. The only thing that saving them affected was, I would say, 8 seconds of cutscene at absolute most. A little bit later, in a cutscene that sucked, that had nothing, like it had no impact. And I would be more specific, but it would absolutely spoil the shit
Right.
out of multiple parts of this. This is a game on Game Pass. One might rephrase that sentence to, this is a Game Pass game.
Oh no.
I mean, it's published by Microsoft, and that seems to be a lot of the stuff that Microsoft publishes now.
Yeah.
It feels like it's good for one playthrough, but doing replays would be a nightmare because there's no fast forward.
No, there's no fast forward. They didn't set the, like, choose... They have giant chunks that are the chunks you can begin to start playing at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really weird how it works. They will be like, oh, I want to start there and change this one thing. And it's like, okay, well, the entire rest of this chapter's now deleted.
Yeah.
So that way you could do that. And since it constantly, you do this chunk of this person's storyline, and it doesn't show this on the flow, right? It doesn't show this on the timeline. At this point, it jumps over to that other character. So you may just want to see how things can be changed for this character, but you got to jump and play the other one. And as we said, at a certain point, the game becomes half useless garbage. And I know that sounds really mean to say about any fiction about a character that's supposed to be introspective at all, but it's just bad. It's just bad. So it's like, okay, cool. I wanted to see what could happen with our dude over here, but now I need to play as filler stuff that ultimately won't matter. So between that and what you were talking about of no fast forward, no skip cutscene,
Yeah.
no nothing else, this is the least replayable one of these I've seen in a very long time. Like, there's a good chance Heavy Rain
I
is
remember
less
Heavy Rain
replayable.
had that.
It really feels like that this studio was like, well, we're going to make a Quantic Dream game, but way crushed the cost down by, doing the Tom goes to the narrative thing
to you.
but not realizing that, like, that makes replaying them. First of all, even David Cage says, "Don't replay my games."
Mm-hmm.
but the idea of doing so is a lot more palatable when you're walking around an area and
Right.
feel like you're in control, like you're touching the steering wheel at all.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You really don't get that feeling at all in this because you just make small decisions. Speaking of which, we need to start talking about the part of this game that is the absolute peak worst for this genre. This game, and this is not hyperbole, I am a person who's gone back and played it recently, I'm being very sincere, has more latency than Killzone 2, the previous reigning champ of worst latency in a video game ever. It is literally, you could go, and then it will react. Oh, it is rough. You'll try to select a choice on an option screen in time, and it'll actually be a challenge sometimes because getting your cursor to the correct one in 9 seconds. Yeah, when you have 4 seconds of input latency.
It feels worse than the menus on Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of radial menu.
yeah, it's terrible, dude.
Holy shit.
On top of that, there are QTEs constantly, but this is the weirdest thing, and Microsoft publishing it makes it very, very strange. All of the inputs are smartphone friendly.
Yes.
So the inputs
I think it's on mobile.
You can play from your phone. There is an app to play from your phone. I don't think the game is mobile. So they wanted it to be able to be QTE'd completely from your phone. But, like, let me explain. In a David Cage game, you'll hold a few different buttons and maybe spin a stick or something else. In this, most of the time, it's like swipe is what it says on the screen. Like a fucking phone. Yes. And what it actually wants you to do is hit up. They'll be like, hit the A button repeatedly, and it'll just eat most of your inputs. Bob was struggling with this because it would eat almost all of his inputs. Bob, for people who don't know, is like barely below Takahashi sensei, like Master Takahashi, with the fucking pushing the button insanely fast shit. So he should never lose one of those. You made your game wrong if he even gets close. It is severe. Best QT, hey, hold the A button.
Yes.
You get half of the timer to wake up, roll out of bed, and then start holding the A button because it fills that fast. It doesn't require any other button, just A.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's the worst it's ever been. With that much latency and everything else, it is truly terrible. But the playing with the Twitch channel stuff is done pretty well. It shows you who's voting for what, pops up with their names, and fills out the number, and it lets you see percents and stuff. At least I think it let you see percents.
Yeah,
It's let you see relatives.
sure.
Anyways, but one of the weirder things is, since we can enable, because chat delay, of course, and this game's delay, of course, we can enable them to put in a slight timer delay so that way chat could get in and vote. And the funniest thing is, now every moment in the game will cut to a really wide shot that's just a still image. So it's just like, wait a second, someone's in there with my daughter. And then he starts walking towards the door. And then he just cuts to the wide of him being like, A pose next to the fucking door. And it freezes him there. And I'm like, this is happening so nonstop. I can't stop finding it funny.
We should mention that Tom.
Yes, that was my next thing I was going to get into. Tom is no shit. Acted by one dude, but voice acted by Adam Jensen from fucking Deus Ex.
It doesn't fit his body at all.
At all.
Oh.
It does not make any fucking sense that they cast this man to voice Tom. So he's just raspy and kind of deep voiced as he's getting cocked. It's a lot to deal with. But it's very funny. This game is unintentionally very funny pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's hard not to just laugh at any moment. They're trying to show you motion because it looks better in Tom Goes to Mayor.
Yeah, that's the thing. Things move in Tom Goes to Mayor. This does crossfades between the stills. Also, this game's 52 gigs.
How'd they manage that?
I don't know. So it'll do a crossfade where someone starts to open the door. So the door is a 3D object, and it starts moving towards the perspective and opening. And then their still image will fade through it. Not like slide. It'll be on one side and then the other. And it will just look wrong every time. Anytime a 3D object moves, it's the funniest shit you've ever fucking seen in a way that's so hard to describe with words. For example, there's a moment where an FBI agent's like, freeze, or a dad is like, freeze, and then you hit them and the gun gets knocked out of their hand. And this cut between these people and their 2D images, and then this gun cartoon bouncing because they couldn't animate a gun being dropped on rocks correctly is so funny.
It looks like they took pictures of the gun as it fell down and put that on a 3D model and did some sort of procedural animation for it hitting the ground.
This is a machine learning game?
Yes.
It is, it's really impressive. It's truly impressive. All the different ways this game is just flabbergasting.
The funniest door situations to me are when they have dude looks at door. Dude teleports near door and faces you, and then it is through the door facing the other direction because they're like, we'll flip him around for him opening the door.
Well, see, he was closing it at that point, but it made no sense for where the door was and where he was. He just like Terminator through the door. It's truly hard to describe.
Yes,
how confounding this is.
Yeah, I don't know how you make more than a scene of this and not just be laughing the whole time and realize there's something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a great stream. That's up on our VOD channel for anyone who wants to watch that. Did you have any other?
No, I don't think so.
This is where I'm going to get a little bit into spoilers for the game.
Okay.
So as I said, there are 2 books.
Uh-huh.
Book 2, the end of this game ends with a cliffhanger that's so shitty and so out of left field that I don't know if they ran out of money making the game, or if there's a DLC coming, or if this is just what their plan was. They're like, oh, they'll demand As Dusk Falls 2.
Yeah, I'm almost certain it's that. They really want people to get a As Dusk Falls 2.
So when you beat it, does it give you a trophy asking you to beg Microsoft for Dusk Falls 2 the way Battletoads does?
Oh,
Luckily, it did not do that.
but yeah, I feel like there's no other reason to introduce that whole future timeline, which is more meaningless and shouldn't be in the game.
Correct. There's only one redeeming part of that, one payoff. But that's the thing. There was another parallel timeline that would have had that same payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I guess since we're in the spoiler zone for this game, I'll go ahead and say this now. They framed this entire game as being the story of the daughter. The daughter didn't see most of the things that happen in the game. They open and close the game and various chapters around the daughter. And it's just like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the worst...
The end of the game should just be like a panning shot around her to some person she was recounting all this to, and he's like, how did you remember the parts you weren't there for?
My favorite part with this was the end of book 1.
Uh-huh.
She says, like, we got out of the hotel, but that wasn't the end of the problems.
That was just the beginning.
That was just the beginning. The next scene, she gets out of the car and is safe and never does anything the story again.
Because the fucking book 2 opens with, hey, what are you going to do? And since you're now the driver of the car, it's like, well, let her go. And then she leaves the story forever. And we're like, what the fuck was any of that?
And we kept expecting to hear, oh, well, something happened in the woods.
Yeah, something happened on the way back. We're just sitting here waiting for, okay, what happened from there? And then hours later, I'm pretty sure, it's like, a cop picked her up. They found her. She's fine.
She's fine.
We're like, what? In the middle of the... What? And this is deep in the wilderness. This makes no sense. But yeah, that's that. Any other comments? No. Now that we're in the spoiler zone.
What a stupid game.
It is hideously stupid at multiple parts, but it might be one of the most enjoyable one of those I've played.
It did have a bottle him button.
Yes! God, that was good! Tom rules. Everybody's a big fan of Tom. They really lost
Tom.
everyone when Tom didn't get to do everything.
Yes.
But yeah, the command saying bottle him was the funniest shit in the world. But anyway, let's move on. That was Friday's stream last week. Saturday's or Catterday stream last week was Stray. Stray's really good. I'm going to comment very briefly on the online weirdness around this game, and then we'll get to talk about the game. It has been so bizarre watching all these people being like, these grown-ass men acting like this cat game is fucking Stray's a meme game. Fucking get the stick out of your ass. Stray is really good. It's genuinely an enjoyable story. It is $30, however, and it's only
6 to 7 hours, somewhere around that.
Yeah, we spent 7, but people say it's like 5 or 6.
See, I was when I saw that discourse about how long it was, I'm like, surely Sony isn't insane enough for this to be $70.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. That'd be
So, and now I'm just like, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up.
It's weird.
It's 30 and it's in that extra tier, the middle tier the PS Plus has.
Oh, sorry, it was free for me.
It's 30 and it was 10 times better than Solar Ash, which was off the 30.
More like Solar Ash.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
But yeah, no. Stray is really enjoyable. To give you an idea of the structure of it, there are multiple hub areas you'll go to where it's sort of an adventure game. It's not combat heavy.
No.
There is a ton of exploration. There's a ton of lore. There's a lot of...
You get lore cards. You don't get lore
You
cards.
don't get lore cards. Don't listen to this man. Go to the website, stray.com. But yeah, you have lots of really neat interactions with the environment. You have a really cool partner throughout the game. You start the game as the cat, you play as the cat.
Meow.
And you run into a drone. The drone helps you translate the robots and other things you run into, language that's written in various places, and you sort of discover exactly what's happened with this city and what like the situation of the drone is and all that sort of stuff. I think the story was perfectly enjoyable. I think the world's very good. I could definitely take a Stray 2 personally.
Yeah, I was like, this sci-fi world they made was way more interesting to me than Horizon Zero Dawn.
He's not wrong, but
I'm
mean,
I'm absolutely sure.
I don't even it's astounding how boring the world of Horizon Zero Dawn is, considering the backstory of it.
Yeah, exactly.
look, you need to view the world of Horizon as the bread bowl, okay? You're supposed to pour delicious soup into it.
And the soup is Aloy?
The soup is great gameplay. No, Aloy is a pack of saltines that came with the bread bowl.
Dip.
Exactly. But yeah, no, Stray was really enjoyable. I was surprised when combat got involved.
Yeah, because it boils down to like shining a light. It's not like you're not doing like combos as this cat.
That would be pretty good though.
That would have made Stray 2.
Yeah, maybe Stray 2. But yeah, no, it's I really enjoyed my time with the game. I feel like if I had bought it, which worth noting, I have PlayStation Plus, which includes the benefits of PlayStation Plus. As KZ said earlier, this is that.
Yeah.
I think I would have been satisfied. The game has I think its story is really good.
It has a meow button, which
it has
is always
it has a meow button. That's also how you like end conversations. So, if you're waiting for a conversation to end, you're basically mashing square to advance the text and circle to meow and eventually end the dialogue. You can meow basically during any cutscene in the game. I would say about 90% of them.
Yeah, there were a few it was limited to like cut off from.
Yeah, but it's pretty good to just have moments happen and just meow, meow, meow. But yeah, no, I really like the hubs. I really like the story and the universe. I enjoyed that game. But it is short, like we mentioned a moment ago. And I think that's going to be more the cutoff for people than, like, I don't know. It just the reception of weirdos online has been
I miss most of these other weirdos other than the shortness factor. It's like, if you don't like cats, then don't play it.
Right.
Like, if that's it,
like if you don't like cats at all.
Mystery here. If you just hate cats, it's not a game for you.
Right.
Yeah. I missed all of this, so all I've heard is this is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I enjoy it a lot.
It also looks really nice. Like, you were booted up again to
Yeah.
work on the platinum. I was like, God, that game looks crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is the cat running is in like 30 frames per second, which looks weird.
Yeah, so, some of the things when they get further from your camera too, start to run at a lower frame rate. But yeah, no, there's really good dialogue and a really great world. I'd give more details, but I don't want to spoil it. And that's what we call bias.
Yeah.
I feel like telling you about things in Tom Goes to the Narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
That helps you decide if you want to play this game or not. I think with Stray, everything I said should basically sell you, for the most part, on whether or not you want to play that game.
Right.
Like, if you've seen a trailer and you hear my description just now, I think that should do it. Was there anything else you can think to say about Stray?
I don't think so. Yeah, we don't.
The music's great.
Yeah, the music is really good.
The music's really good. And now that the podcast is out, I can say what I was thinking during that entire stream. Man, the music's really good. I wish it was at all acceptable in Resident Evil Netflix. Woo! Non-stop what I was thinking through that entire stream. And every time a new song comes out, I'm like, this one's really great too. Man, Resident Evil Netflix has the most on-the-nose, bullshit, overbearing fucking tone for its music possible. Fuck that shit. But you can go watch that podcast, which is doing very well. So thank you everyone who's already watched it. Because I spent 8 hours watching that show.
Yes.
I also spent 8 hours watching that show.
Something no one should do.
Correct.
No. Oh, absolutely fucking not.
I would recommend watching every live-action Resident Evil film before just watching that series.
God, it's about the same length.
It's roughly
insane.
getting there, right?
Oh,
I posted it in our Discord when you're like, all right, you only have to watch 3 episodes. I was 10 minutes in and I said, I don't know, I think I'm gonna tap out, and I still like ate all of it.
Yeah.
Because my brain is broken and went, it's not worth it unless I know every horrible thing it's done.
Terrible. Horrible. The sort of podcast that needs to be over an hour and a half long.
And it flew by. Like, I looked down and went, we've been doing an intro, right? And we were 50 minutes in.
Right. But anyway, that's it for Stray. Last thing I need to talk about is multiverses. LeBron's good.
Yeah, LeBron did seem pretty good.
LeBron has troll potential. His neutral
He's the king.
Exactly, he's the king. He's got a neutral triangle where he just takes the basketball and just throws it lightly in front of him to bounce off of the opponent and come back to him. So if someone's like 2 feet away charging their smash attack, their neutral square, and they're about to hit you, you just go boink.
Yeah, I saw a Twitter video of just repeatedly doing that to someone until it was the Scooby-Doo level. So it was until the wall they were against broke.
That's good.
No!
That's really good. Yeah, that was that. I'm enjoying my time with multiverses immensely. They made me buy Shaggy, though.
Yes,
Which,
now we have a rotation for the characters.
Yes, my level 13 Shaggy got removed from my hands because I never bought him with the free currency or otherwise. So then I needed to buy him. I may have spent some money on the game, though. A little bit of real money. Just the smallest.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Just a little bit.
Just $180.
Well, it
Just
wasn't
that much.
It wasn't that much. It was about half. Anyways, look,
Okay, 90.
look. You need to understand.
Sure.
They were like, hey, the summer skins are going to go away when summer's over, and I'm like, well, I need Velma in that Hawaii skirt, so we're just gonna drop down this money right now.
There's no escaping it.
Closest thing to May Overwatch I'm getting in this game. I'm sorry. That's
I didn't want to say it, but I was like, is this going to be your May Overwatch for this game?
apparently I don't know. But
We don't make these choices.
yeah, no, the choices make us. Anyways. Yeah, so I've been enjoying that. I still am maining Shaggy. My Shaggy's like level 14 or something. But I did enjoy my time with LeBron, and I'm starting to think Finn and Superman might be fucking broken. Finn more so than Superman. Superman's just aggravating. That motherfucker's side ability is for him to grab you, float slowly to the edge of the level, and then just lightly push you out.
Yeah, so if you get him slightly out in the outside of the ring, you just start flying at him and throw him
It
out.
was to the point where Bob and I, we team up and do online matching, and we both choose Superman. We knock both of our enemies off, and then we both start flying. The first one barely dodges us, and the other guy's like, not like this. Not like this.
Please.
Goodbye. So, what I'm trying to say is, given his ability set, I feel like he shouldn't have been the good guy Superman we know for the cartoons.
Don't worry, I'm sure we can get movie Superman.
We're gonna get Cavill Superman. He just goes, time to side special.
He has one of those for going up, too.
Yeah, he snaps Steven Universe's neck. Yeah. Steven's like, oh,
I need
this. What's up, Phil?
I need that.
Oh yeah, ever since Phil brought that up last big thing, I think of what characters do I want in this game that can brutalize Steven Universe just cuz.
It's nothing against Steven Universe. I just think
of course.
he's the funniest possible victim.
He is,
Even,
100%.
even funnier than Morty, who's being added soon, who would also be really funny.
It's really good because you have Steven who's like, oh, I spilled my ice cream, and then Bane picks him up and breaks his fucking back.
Yeah, he's from my understanding, Yoey Feelings boy. So I need I need the Clockwork Orange rapist to do something.
God, do you think they're just gonna add that to this? Because they already put them in Space Jam 2.
I think they will.
No. Oh no.
Why are they this stupid?
They need to add that. They also need to add Agent Smith. Not the real one, the one from Space Jam 2 that's overacting out of his ass.
No, that's the vanilla outfit. You have to pay extra to get the real Agent Smith.
Like I'm sure they can get Hugo Weaving to record stuff. It's just they wouldn't go to Australia or whatever to film that latest movie.
Right. Or wherever they did it, because he's an Australian
Okay, yeah,
actor.
he's in Australia, so he wouldn't come over wherever they were doing it.
Kangaroos.
Yeah. No joke. If you could put Bane in Multiverses, I would love to see Bane do some shit to Steven Universe. That'd be really good.
Oh, man. The fire rises.
I was thinking like cartoon Bane.
No, I want the impressionists to like do that.
Well, that's going to be one of the skins. The skins, we know the skins can change voice lines now.
That's
so
true.
Obviously,
Yes. At least
obviously we need to-
Please.
Yeah, Tom Hardy, please. We need to switch over to that's going to get time to go mobile.
See, that's the thing. You get Tom Hardy Bane, right? As the alt skin. But then you also get Tom Hardy Mad Max.
Ooh. Do they on Mad Max?
I'm pretty sure they do, yeah. Pretty sure that's a WB joint. I would like that. I'm enjoying this game a lot more than I thought I would. It's definitely getting up there in free-to-play game I enjoy enough to spend money.
Yeah. No, I'm also looking at buying some of the stuff.
I need them to start adding Mortal Kombat characters, like on the brutalizing Steven Universe front. I think Shao Kahn would be real good at that.
Yes! That and Baraka. Just doing the fucking blades, this thing.
Johnny Cage doing the nut punch on Steven Universe.
I need Kano in the skin for movie Kano.
For some reason, Steven is the only character with a vocal hit reaction now, and he just goes, "Oh!" Oh, man. Yeah. Multiverse is good stuff.
It's been popping off. Like, the Steam charts say it had like 150,000 people playing it once.
That doesn't
ludicrous
surprise me.
for like any like fighter.
Yeah, it's free to play and has some of the biggest IPs in the world. What did he expect?
You're right. It's almost like something else could have hit that tier if it was executed properly.
Huh.
Nah, no one likes Garfield.
That's true. Look, so, I mean, like, if they're as big as Nicktoons are, they aren't as big as Batman and Superman.
No, they're not, but they're definitely, they command energy. SpongeBob is a world-renowned character.
It is.
Look, the important thing is that we find our own Tom Kenny to stick in multiverses. I'm sure Camp Lazlo had at least one Tom Kenny in it. I'm positive.
Do they own Mr. They own Mr. Show? Just put Tom Kenny.
Isn't I think
Wait, not Bob or David.
No.
They're gonna be like, "Hey everyone, we added Tom Kenny for Mr. Show.
Let's go."
People are like, "Why did they add this full-grown man who makes SpongeBob sounds?"
Also, yeah, I am pretty sure half the cast of Camp Lazlo is just Tom Kenny.
Yeah, that makes sense because Tom Kenny played Heifer on Rocko's Modern Life. So when that same person came back to do Camp Lazlo, of course Tom Kenny was there.
Okay.
It's really good.
I always forget that connection.
Yeah, the weirdest connection, actually, if I remember this correctly.
It's not connected. It was supposed to be, but somebody vetoed it, I think.
Yeah, it's just the same creator, I'm pretty sure.
But you can still watch that last episode and see exactly what they're doing.
Oh, there you go. Tom Kenny is the Ice King from Adventure Time.
Well,
so
we
just
need him anyway.
We do need him. So just
you were
get him in
already
there.
asking for him last week.
But what we really need? Okay. Right. Hear me out. Okay. I don't know. But what I was actually going to say, I was like, this intro doesn't work for what I have to say at all. Tom Kenny voiced Heifer on Rocko's Modern Life, and I'm like, who else is like the SpongeBob Rocko connection? And if I remember this correctly, and people feel free to fact check me on this, but I looked at this like last week. Filbert is Plankton? Filbert's someone, and it blew my fucking mind. I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember you saying something about this, but I don't remember
who it was. That blew my fucking mind. I'm like, no. Wrong. But anyway, that's it for the Tom Kenny hour here on Big Think Dimension. Hey, Bob.
Hey,
Did you play anything else?
I did play a few other things. We played Pokemon 5th Gen.
That's
we did
true.
that.
We did that.
That game still looks really nice, and your trainer, the female Pokemon trainer you pick, makes the best face in the game.
She does. That's just a fact. So much so that we had to superimpose her on the sea gear at all times, just to simulate how she is looking down at her sea gear and seeing herself. Because I think that's really important, actually.
Yeah, because I'd never chosen the female trainer before. I had no idea. She was just always.
There we go.
I don't see what the problem here is. She's just hanging out.
She's just always that energy. You FaceTime her and she's just
the grin.
Yeah.
But 5th Gen's really great. I don't know what else to say here other than I'm enjoying the hell out of it. 5th Gen's really great. And a viewer drew exactly what I asked for. Of Bianca as Brienne and Hilda, the main character, as Leslie from John Keats or whatever. Keith Stacks. There we go. Webcomic. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was really good.
Bianca's the fucking airhead and it rules.
Yep.
But Bob.
Man, remember having a good set of characters in Pokemon? Weird.
That was really cool. I like how one guy's just Vegeta.
Yeah, it's great.
He just keeps losing and coping. She's like, I have a character arc, and he's just like, I'm just bitter. You're like, okay, bye.
Cool.
We're gonna have ladies' night. We're gonna hang out and learn about her dad. We'll learn about all this stuff. It's gonna be cool. I'm not looking forward to 6th Gen.
Yeah, no, this isn't a dig on even on the newest gen. This is a dig on 6th Gen.
Yeah, of course. Just wait for 7th. 7th has some good shit.
Oh yeah, 7's great.
Yeah.
It's got good hop, right?
Yes, it does. It absolutely has good hop. I don't know why they tried to do it again, but worse.
Yeah, it's like, I'm tired of bad hop. I want good hop.
I forgot that there was hop, but good. But I did play a few other things that
Okay, cool.
they put out demos like last year sometime for both of these games, but they're now both on sale for the PlayStation summer sale. So I want to check them
Nice.
out. The first one's called Relayers.
Relayers?
It's RELAYERS.
Okay, so that's not a good name, but
No.
go ahead.
This is a visual novel
All right.
set in the near future, but also it's a turn-based strategy game, which is the reason I actually wanted to try it out. I just saw cool pictures of robots, and you're playing like these giant mechs. And it's tactical RPG like, say, Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre or...
It's Relayer, singular.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
But they are fighting the Relayers. Whatever.
I'm sorry, Bob. It is called Relayer. Which, could be a word. You're relaying things, but...
Tell me about these mortal shells.
Yes, tell us about these mortal shells, Bob.
Yeah, it... Yeah, the Relayers are these space people from far out in the galaxy who want to end the world, end all existence by making the galaxy expand faster.
They want to expand the galaxy.
Yes.
And that's going to ruin everything.
Yes, and it'll cause the universe to end. And that's their goal. Like, they're the most transparently evil villains you could make for this sort of sci-fi thing of having aliens attack the Earth.
I pulled up some mech imagery so that way people could, get into the head zone of like, okay, Bob saw these. What is the actual game? What is the actual game, Bob?
Yeah, most of it is visual novel, which I didn't expect at all. It's just to tell you this story that's pretty overwrought. You play as the Star Children, who are each named after a different celestial body.
Star Children?
Yes.
Are these the Star Children right here? Is that what I'm staring at? What the heck? Bob's like,
I don't
what?
recognize any of those guys.
What the hell do you mean?
Maybe they're a time skip because they look like they could be similar.
Okay, go on.
The visual novel usually looks really bad. Like the pictures are not high res enough for what they're doing. So they'll zoom in and be obviously really low res. They will constantly be replaying like badly looped music. And if there's something like, say you're in a construction bay, like a hangar that they're working on the mechs, it'll just loop this 10 seconds of audio of generic machine work going in the background. And it's really bad.
Okay, cool.
It's fully English dubbed, which I was super surprised by. The mic quality is highly inconsistent.
Recording from home, I guess.
Yeah, so there was one character in particular, her mic was just so much worse than everyone else. It was crazy.
They're like, I use the Blue Yeti for my VO work.
I would not be surprised. It was that bad.
And you can get tutorials from this person on Skillshare.
But the mech combat was pretty neat. It has a cool thing where when you do like attack another mech, it does a very clearly stolen directly from a Gundam show sequence where they shoot each other as they fly around and has epic shots. I'm like, this will probably get old, but right now I'm impressed.
Okay, cool. So you said this was on sale, and that's the reason you looked up this demo at all.
Yes.
Do you remember what the sale price was?
I do not remember, unfortunately.
Okay. Bob's like, savings.
But you can go to PlayStationStore.com or whatever it is.
PlayStationStore.com. That's not going to have a virus.
No. I also tried out Blue Reflection Second Light, which is Blue Reflection 2. Blue Reflection
I've
is
seen part of that.
It is a magical girl turn-based RPG made by Gust, who also makes the Atelier franchise. The first one came out 5 years ago.
God, was it only 5 years? For some reason, I thought it was longer, but I knew it was on PS4.
Yeah, it was in 2017. I assume this one looks a lot nicer because it doesn't have to be on the fucking Vita.
The first one looked surprisingly nice, honestly.
It does. I own it and have played it somewhat. That was from the era. That was from the end of the Vita where Gust was like, no care.
It doesn't have to run well on the Vita.
Let me pull up like okay, I found a screenshot of the Atelier game that shipped on Vita that year, the same year as this.
Bob, you have a new co-host. I'll be right back.
Fair.
This is how the Vita version looked.
Whoa.
Yeah, I the first time I saw it, I'm like, they turned it into a free MMO from 2005.
Yeah, I'm like, chat, you can't see this. This is basically, imagine a completely flat plane in a character model on it.
We are, I am looking at for the chat if they want to look it up. Atelier Fierus on the Vita.
Oh my god.
And I think the year, I forget if this is the last one that was on the Vita or if there was if the one after that also was.
Were you looking up a picture of the PS4 version or?
No. It's
okay. The movie.
You don't need to compare it. It looks so bad.
Yeah. The game looks better in some ways than the first game.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
They got overambitious and hit every single option for post visual effects they could add, so it has an intense motion blur that makes it almost unplayable.
Oh no!
Did you play Type 0 HD?
Yes.
Yeah. How does it measure up to Type 0 HD?
It's not that bad, but it approaches.
Yeah, because I couldn't. I'm looking at it, and yeah, it's pretty bad. It's. I would say it is at 40% of a Type 0, which is still more than you would ever use.
Yeah, it's still almost unplayable. It's not unplayable like Type 0 was.
Type 0 was unplayable after they patched half of it out.
So that was really disappointing. I did not play much of it because of this motion blur. It looks very nice in other ways, though, like just seeing all the way they did the character models and how well they got that anime art style for the eyes and faces and everything. I was like, this looks nice. I can't play it. Also, I'm not sure if this
makes sense.
connected story-wise to the first one at all, so I guess it's a good jump on point. Because you're no longer the same main character. But yeah. Only other thing I played? EX Zodiac. If you haven't heard about this, it's in early access right now. It's a Star Fox like.
Oh, that thing.
Oh, I see this. Yeah, this looks neat.
Yeah, they did a really good job on emulating the feel of Star Fox. The main differences are instead of a charge shot, you now have a lock-on shot that's like the Panzer Dragoon thing, where you can select multiple things at once and then shoot it out.
Oh, okay.
There's a mode so you can switch it to being 15 frames per second, and also to go. Standard sits at a super low res that makes it look much more like Star Fox 1. But you can turn that off and just be like, no, I want this to play in like full HD. And I want to play at 60 frames per second. And that's what I did.
Yeah, of course. Like, you are not someone who's like, I want to feel like shit right now.
Yeah, the option to change the res all the way down is neat looking, because then you get you get to see all the little like dots. Like literally, it's so low res you get to see the individual pixels.
Oh, okay.
So it makes an interesting art style, but I still think it just looks better at full res. It still has very rudimentary models like you would expect from like a weird in midpoint between Star Fox 64 and Star Fox 1, because it's a lot of untextured stuff that's just plain flat shapes. But it has a nice look. There's a desert level that has a Stargate, which is always important. It has bonus stages where instead of playing like a Star Fox, it plays like a Space Harrier. And there's one of these hidden in each level. And each of them has its own unique like level layout and boss. So you get not only the regular boss, but you also get this bonus stage that has its own special boss. And most of them do seem like they're straight from Space Harrier. And that also, I didn't know this until I got to these bonus levels. But you are not playing as just a regular anime girl. You're actually playing as a monkey girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They really need voice acting, because Star Fox 64 had voice acting, and they have the story exactly like that, where it's just, oh, we're going to talk in the middle of you doing the beginning of this level and also throughout.
I'm sorry, I don't have 4 fucking eyes. I only have 2.
Yeah, so I have to replay every level to actually be able to concentrate on playing it instead of just reading and losing health and dying because I'm trying to do that. But yeah, this is an early access, so it was only like $10. It's pretty cheap. I definitely just picking it up, and maybe even picking it up now and just waiting to play it when it's fully done, because there's like something like 6 or 7 levels right now, and there's no definitive ending or anything. So yeah, take that as you will. But that is everything I played. I guess that means that
KZ.
Yeah, KZ's up.
Yo.
Hello. I decided to check that one demo you checked out, Relayer, to see how good it was on that sale. Only the digital premium version, which retails for $75. It is $48.74 until mid next month. Otherwise, the normal version's $60.
Ooh.
Which I was not expecting based on your description of how it is.
No, it does feel a lot more like it's an indie level of production.
Yeah, you made it sound like this is going to be a $30 to $40 thing at peak.
Yeah.
So that threw me through a loop. Let's see. This week I detoxed through watching that Resident Evil show by watching all 3 seasons of The Boys that are currently out. That's great. I'm really glad I waited until after Resident Evil to watch that. I would have rallied to get a negative score on Resident Evil if I had done it in the reverse order. But yeah, that was really good. In terms of games, I finally went through the 2 Klonoa games.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one, I think the story was like really, really surprisingly nice and stuff, and some like decent performance stuff they did in there with like the fake language that they have. The gameplay didn't really hit for me in terms of like throwing things into the background and the foreground. I kind of just at times it was confusing, and at times I was missing things that just kind of felt like, come on, this hit detection doesn't feel great. So I was worried I just wasn't going to enjoy these games, but then I played Klonoa 2 and I liked that immensely more from a gameplay perspective.
Klonoa 2 is way better than 1. I enjoy 1, but anyone can agree that is just way better.
I was like committing to doing both in one stream, and from a gameplay perspective, I really didn't like 1. Like, I was very much worried I was going to play the second one and not like it just as much, and then this felt like the greatest sequel jump ever. Where when you have a really good 2 or 2.5D platformer, if your movement is just right and what they expect you to do and your kit's really solid, you'll kind of hit that zen state of bouncing between the level, doing everything they expect, and you don't even need to slow down because you're just really nailing it. And I had a few moments of that with 2. I think the color type puzzles they do in that are really interesting, where at times you have to figure out how to get a certain object to hit every enemy in the area, and you're positioned in just the right spot to be holding it to break a wall. I thought a lot of that stuff was really, really cool, and the bosses. And how Klonoa as a character jumped from classic Sonic to Dreamcast Sonic across 2 games. I thought that was funny.
It is interesting.
Yeah. And the story was also good. I just really came out really enjoying the second one quite a bit. There's not too much else to really say about both of them. They should bring that franchise back. That second one was good. People saying that it bombed upset me.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. As I mentioned on what was it, Big Think last week. Like, when I rented that game when it came out, I just played the thing in one sitting, and I was like, "Oh, this is incredible! I hope we get more." No,
it's over.
I saw some people expressing that it was maybe because people were still against things that weren't full 3D.
Oh,
that would make
100%.
sense because it was the first year of the PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's just like it's not focusing on that, but then it has these really cool set piece levels that are like, wow, this is really impressive, especially when you got it in that early.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was really good.
It makes Eggman X outings on the PS2 seem really bad.
Yeah.
Not that they
yes,
need help with that.
Yeah, as
Yes,
it
it
turns
does.
out, playing amazing masterpiece games really makes dog shit look terrible.
Especially when this masterpiece shit just came out almost immediately.
I really like the concept of somebody playing fucking X7 of all things and being like, oh, I don't know, is Klonoa 2 better? Burned to the ground.
God. Fucking Mega Man X7. I've only played it once, and it was in your stream. And boy, was that bad.
Yeah, X7 and X8, they did not try hard enough on those. It's clearly got nowhere near the love that Klonoa 2 does.
So aside from those, I played Live Alive this week because that came out. And I basically finished it. I got the default ending that you get. I'm going back and getting the true thing later.
That is the one where you do the default dance, correct?
Yes, it is. It is, and Megalomania plays in the background, and you're like, this is great.
I can see why this inspired Tobey Maguire.
Yep. Speaking of, I know he based Megalomania, his song Megalovania, on Megalomania, and I'm like, okay, there was an inspiration here. Then I played the rest of the game and went, oh my god.
Yeah.
Where they're like, here's a story where you can either do a genocide route or a pacifist route. Some of the very ending of the game, there was some stuff lifted to the degree I'm like, I get it. I now understand.
So really, the brilliance of Undertale definitely benefited from no one playing Live Alive.
Yes. Is that a problem?
Yes.
It's not a problem. No, not at all, actually. I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah, they were able to. He recontextualized Because one of the chapters in this, you're a shinobi, and you're infiltrating this massive mansion.
Mhm.
And you have the option to just play it normally, kill everyone, because you could potentially kill 100 people in this chapter, or kill no one, which is really hard to like figure out, like, oh, how do I do this? How do I get past this type of thing? And there's
Mhm.
like spirits and stuff that you can fight that they don't count as humans, so that's a way you can level up. And then Undertale, goes in a different direction with some other approaches where I'm like, I see where you got the influence here, and you took it off in a different direction.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed with the stuff they did in Live Alive, where every story feels really distinct. Like you got the fighting game, Street Fighter 2 1, and you got your ninja going out into this like almost like Metroidvania-esque large map to try and figure things out. And they do a really good job of like focusing on verticality and stuff with the design, where it feels like they're doing the pixel art style, but they're able to do like 3D video game style stuff to make it feel different. There's also like really stellar cutscene direction, where I feel like there are times where they will zoom in on a building or do things at different angles that make it have this almost cinematic feel that none of the classic SNES games really had. So it kind of made it feel really fresh in that way. Overall, I really enjoyed almost every character story in the game. They were all going for different stuff. The combat system is fine, where it's like you're moving around moving around a grid, and then that ticks the turn timer for everybody, and then an attack will go off.
Mhm.
The Switch Pro controller is a terrible controller and makes this game worse.
Not surprising.
When you're menuing things, you'll be doing it on a stick, so you're just whipping around this menu like it's on crack. Or you could use the worst D-pad they've ever made. So there's really no good way to deal with this game. Where it's
Well,
like,
obviously, if you had an 8-bit do wireless controller designed for the Switch,
yeah, I really should have dug that thing up specifically for this game, so I would stop accidentally going 1 or 2 spaces ahead. Which, of course, did the turn timer for an enemy, so the enemy gets to do a free hit that they would not have done otherwise.
Well, you should have gotten the pre-order version, the deluxe bundle that just came with an SN80 Pro.
Man, they were really smart partnering up like that.
It makes perfect fucking sense, actually.
Yeah. I think the game does a really good job of having different ideas of how encounters and stuff work. Like the caveman dude, you press the Y button, and he'll sniff out scents of enemies. And then you can go up to that cloud to examine it, and then the enemy's still moving because the enemies are on the map invisible, just moving around. So it becomes this thing of, if you sniff them out, you can find them a little bit easier. And it's not till the last 20% of the game that they're like, it is now just a JRPG with random battles in it. Which is the part where it started losing me in terms of, you had a lot of really interesting ideas for like story and other stuff, and now it's every 15 steps I'm doing a battle.
How many Zubats?
There's a large mix of different Zubat types.
Oh, that's great.
My mission to finish this game this week both succeeded and failed, because I got to the very end and they're like, for the truest ending in this game, the remake has added another sequence. And I died at that sequence and could not finish it. So people are like, if you're playing on the SNES, you already won.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was really funny. I'm going back and doing it on my own time, which I'm halfway into doing as I was prepping for this podcast. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it does stuff that was really ambitious for the time and looks really good. This is the best looking HD 2D style game they've done, and that soundtrack is crazy.
Yeah, that soundtrack is really good.
Every time the main boss track drops in every character's story, it's like the best moment in that game. But yeah, there's not too much else to say about it without like digging into the spoilers and the details about it. So I definitely recommend people check it out when things slow down, because I know 18 million games are always coming out all the time.
No, see, here's what you do, okay? You play 30 to 40 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Then you take a nice break to play a 20-hour JRPG.
I was going to say, you already got through it, so I assume it's not that long.
As I understand, it's about 20, right?
Yeah, it's not that long.
Yeah,
I did the first story, which was like the fighting game one, and I hit credits, and it was 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, some are more
because it's just a Street Fighter reference. It's just fight 6 bosses.
Yeah, that's true. There is a demo for people to try out.
Yeah, that's how I played it the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Gives you a nice little taste of the different stuff they got going on there. And you know, doing maybe 30 hours of Xenoblade 3 seems smart. That way you can get the first 20% of the game done. As reviewers have outlined, it's 140 to 150 hours is what most reviewers took on that game.
Yeah, if you do all the side quests, you're just there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those side quests are asinine in those games.
They are asinine.
Bob and I had a conversation of this seems like the ultimate Xenoblade, right? And this was before scores came out. Like, I was like, this is clearly hitting on a budget level and a tech level and a character design level that seems like the peak for the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reviews came out and people are giving it 10s, and I'm just sitting here, I'm like, do they just finally make something else now? Because they've been doing Xenoblade for...
It apparently, no, they already have said that they will make more Xenoblade.
They do have DLC, but they said we're making even more Xenoblade. Yeah, so that's shocking.
Right? I was like... that disappoints me a little bit just from the angle of, I don't know what's in this game. It might be a conclusion to the whole franchise, but I guess not.
Maybe it will be, but then maybe the other one will take place earlier, but who knows?
Always possible.
You know, at any moment, any JRPG franchise can go full Star Ocean and then go, no going forward.
Never
good.
It could always be one of those, this is the end of me doing this goofy shit I've been doing for 25 years.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll still be Xenoblade, but it'll still be called Xenoblade, but because that has name recognition.
Right.
But I'm doing something different.
Yeah, it's always possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad that they're still doing more, because there's not many games like that is, here's a heavy RPG where I like walking around. There's not many that I like doing that. It's like the set dressing looks beautiful, but this one I love finding the secret location landmarks or going under this cave and finding this chest. And
you know what could improve it,
dumb gorillas.
What if you hung out with 3 bros while you did it?
Can we have a car?
Yes. It looks like the Batmobile.
Oh, okay. That sounds really exciting. I hope that turns out well if they make
Me
one of
too.
But yes, now that 3's done, they're gonna work on that DLC. They can now finally port that fucking spaceship one, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Yes. I'm sorry, Xenoblade Chronicles Cross.
Yes, that would actually, I would appreciate that. Because as somebody who looks at that one and 2 and goes, I kind of want to play that one. Why is it stuck on the Wii U? That's frustrating.
And I'm like, okay, are you going to leapfrog this where you did 2, and then you did the remaster 1, then you did 3. Now you got to do X, and then whatever else you're going to do.
And then one, because it'll ship late enough, will have deep learning super sampling to be 4K on the Switch Pro Mega, which is what they're going to call it.
Dude.
It's all very real.
With Xenoblade, all I want is to them try to hit 1440p on a Pro. Okay, I'm not even asking for 4K, dude. I'm like, can we get 1440p unlocked frame rate?
I don't know.
I went back to Xenoblade 1 Definitive. Because I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through this in 2 before I play 3 sometime this year. And I'm like, oh, right. It's like Vaseline over everything. Especially since I've been playing a lot of other things that, like, you know, are on Switch and PS5. So obviously the PS5 version just rips ass at 4K.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can hope for some G-Sync or VRR or something in the Switch too to just even that out a little.
Get it up to 720p.
I did think it was pretty funny how John Linneman was like, yeah, they apparently learned magic between shipping Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 3. because performance-wise, it's night and day.
I bet when they saw the fiscal performance of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, they went, whoa. This shit sells when we have a popular platform. Maybe we put some money into this. Maybe we stop treating them like they're just a support studio that turns out JRPGs to be funny.
I will be annoyed at Nintendo, possibly Nintendo of America specifically, probably forever, for that shit they did to Xenoblade 1 of, we don't even want to print discs. GameStop, it's all yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really ranks up there with the fucking thing I found out earlier today.
And then GameStop was like, okay, we'll print discs and then say they're pre-owned so we can charge $30 above retail.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, they did that. Like, they waited a few months, then did that. God.
Yeah. The thing I found out earlier today that people informed me of is the reason Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 on the PSP and various other games didn't come over. Like, there was an entire, if I'm not mixing up the story, an entire Tales of game that had never come over before, but was a port of a PS1 game, is Sony of America's like, no ports. That's not a new game.
See, the thing...
I just want them dead, allegedly.
The thing I've always heard is that there's some fucking licensing thing with Mega Man Legends with, like, the fucking juice vending machines.
All right.
And it is in some weird fucking gray area that they don't want to mess with. But Sony loves doing crazy shit like that.
Yeah, Sony of America used to be absolutely crazy in that way, and nowadays they're crazy in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And Microsoft then became crazy in that. I remember the Microsoft one was always really insane to me because I always remember them somebody from Nippon Ichi Software being asked specifically, why are none of your games on Xbox? This was like 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally, if you don't sell at least this much on Xbox, you have to pay out the ass to Microsoft.
Right. I forgot that was the thing. Yeah.
It was like, and none of our we don't think any of our games, not even Disgaea, can reach that on
Xbox. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. KZ.
Yes.
Did you play anything else?
No.
Then we're going to go ahead and take it and swing on down to Mr. Phil. Mr. Phil, what you been playing?
I beat A Garden Story.
Oh, yeah. Small of game.
The olive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a grape. You're not an olive.
I know.
You're a grape named Concord.
Makes sense.
Have you ever played a game where if you changed one unbelievably small detail, it would go up 2 points?
I believe that was, yes, the unbelievably small detail of being attached to your stand and having to operate it manually in Astral Chain. Very small detail.
So, and this is going to sound crazy unless you go play this game. It's on Game Pass. You can do that right now if you have Game Pass.
Okay.
When you kill an enemy, it spawns a tiny little blob that will keep attacking you. And when you kill the enemy, it like pops up into the air because they're like ooze. They're like rot monsters made of ooze. And that's supposed to be like the core. And if you leave 2 cores alone, they'll reform into a basic enemy. But that's not the problem. The problem is it pops into the air and then lands, and the entire time it's in the air and landing, it is invincible.
So you need to wait.
Killing any enemy now has this chore you have to do after you actually kill it. And considering how every boss in the game has the spawn guys phase.
Oh no.
It gets really fucking old, and it really drug down my enjoyment of the game as time went on, because I'm like, I hate having to have this weird way. I have to kill it, then back away, then come back in to hit it. It honestly sort of reminded me of Mighty Number 9, where to kill any enemy, you have to do the dash. Like, it's the same thing of like, we're killing an enemy that should take like 1 or 2 button presses, now takes like 5.
Yeah. And too long, because they added an extra step or 3. Yeah.
Otherwise, I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think the loop quite gets to the level I'd want it to be, because whenever you have one of these games with and this is less farming adjacent than other games like this, like it's not really close to Rune Factory or even Stardew Valley, which both have like combat. But it doesn't like what you need for something like that is like every single thing you do to feed into 3 more things.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how you get the serotonin, where it's like, okay, like you get wood, and wood can fix your farmhouse, but it can also upgrade this other facility that gives like a combat benefit or helps you make more money, and you need a bunch of those to really make your brain set off. And it never quite gets there once you you get to the point where it gives you pretty late in the game the ability to plant like seeds in plots that are all over the game world, and that's just to get weapon upgrade mats. It doesn't have any other use really. There's not even really like facility upgrading, which is kind of lame. I still thought it was neat. It has a really interesting final boss that is basically a Final Fantasy XIV boss, where it's constantly throwing AOE markers all over the ground, and it's unlike any other boss in the game.
And then there's a snake that makes the entire thing spin.
Yeah, it just rotates 90 degrees.
But I had fun with it, and it looks very, very nice and has very nice music.
Cool. One more
on a
time.
Similar note,
what was the name of that game?
A Garden Story.
Okay. I usually am better about having people say the name of the game at the end of their segments that way, because listening to podcasts, worst thing in the world is somebody says the name of a game and you just don't care because it doesn't sound like it's for you. Then you get interested and then they move on and you're like, I'm an asshole. I don't fucking know.
I have to travel through time.
Yeah, I have to go back 14 minutes.
Speaking of farming games, I had forgot I had bought this because I pre-ordered it the day it became available. Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town has come out on PS4.
Ooh.
And when you play that on the PS5, it's in 4K.
Ooh.
Yum yum.
So I played that for about 3 hours and immediately felt like the hooks come out and get into me.
Yes.
Because it seems like a very good one of these.
Yes. It's so good.
So I'm very afraid that Dan's gonna get like the galactic win of it being on the Game of the Year list 2 years in a row, because we established the rule that Switch doesn't count last year.
Well, we still allowed things on there for fun.
Jesus Christ.
Please be excited for No More Heroes 3.
Yes, I know, right?
It's like, wow, look at all these great games that came out this year. Pioneers of Olive Town, No More Heroes 3, Disgaea 6, and hopefully Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah, that would be great.
Right?
Actually, that would be super swell.
It'll be right there with a game that came out in 1994 but got a remaster.
Which will then be on the list again next year when it comes out on things other than Switch.
Oh man, our GOTY list is about to become the hackiest shit ever, and I'm kind of supporting it.
I haven't gotten that far. I've just barely gotten past the tutorial stuff, and I'm still in the part. And this was also in Stardew Valley. I don't remember it from other farming games I played, which before Stardew Valley, the only one I really spent a long time in was Harvest Moon 64.
Ooh.
And but I'm in the part of the game where you have to go to bed at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Because you're out of stamina.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're clearing all the shit on your derelict farmland. It's like, I cut down too many trees. It's 11 p.m. and I have to go to bed.
I'm so fucking.
I mean, it's 11 a.m. and I have to go to bed.
Real quick tip for you and anyone else who's getting into Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town, a really, really incredible farming game that makes my prior favorite look like absolute dog shit. It's so good. Do all the mayor's tasks. Like when you go to the town hall, there's a, hey, can you help us with this? And it seems really, really optional, but you get the most important ability in the game if you do enough. So do those.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It'll be piddly shit like bring me clay or a stick or really small things, but you get new missions every so often. So you gotta keep up with the billboard.
Definitely don't do 40 hours of the game before doing that.
Yes, that would be tragic twice. 40 hours twice.
I still remember Smith being upset with you for not doing it.
Look, dude, I didn't fucking know. I did a few of them, and the rewards sucked. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll stop by when I'm in town. And then I'm like I'm Jeff Bezos out here on my fucking farm, and Spiff's like, why can't you pick up more than one crop at once? And I go, what? Excuse me?
Oh shit.
So yeah, that makes that a lot better. Oh man, now I'm just thinking about Pioneers of All the Town.
I do think the mayor kind of has like a mayor from Powerpuff Girls energy to him.
Yes, 100%.
Like a little bit.
I'm gonna turn him into a cartoon dog.
But yeah, I'm excited to end up losing like 3 days to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's good. Enjoy your time.
I also got to play. I also have been continuing AI the Somnium Files, the Nirvana initiative. Cool. I have gotten to the point where I'm either I can tell from the things that have happened. I am either going to leave this game very high on it, or really, really just being like, okay, he wasted it all. He's a hack. He's the biggest hack in history.
I'm so excited. He's on a train that I have been on,
and
I just get to see it play out.
I did get to the Somnium, the dream sequence where you go into a fucking puzzle room and the characters look at the camera and say, "This sure reminds me of one of those escape room games," and I get mad.
See, I love it because we're two people. He gets pissed. I go, "That's fun." He made those.
And then this doesn't even count as spoilers, but if you care about the solution to a puzzle, cover your ears for 30 seconds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The puzzles in that are like, figure out the combinations to these doors. They're 3 digits. And the last one, I got 2 9s and went, fuck you, I know what this is.
To continue that, I guessed it because I had no time left, and it was right. I guessed it out of nothing without doing any of the setup. And my entire chat wanted me dead.
And it is funny that the game has unique dialogue for you just guessing the numbers. Or where your assistant's like, are you some kind of divine oracle?
Yes.
Perhaps.
But I'm really enjoying that. I think I feel like I'm pretty close to the end.
Seems like it.
I don't know if this is gonna do. It's starting to gaslight me.
Okay.
The game is gaslighting me where I'm like, what you're saying isn't making sense based on what is going on, and nobody's addressing that this isn't making sense. I'm really starting to get worried that you're about to do something fucking goofy to me.
Because
it's literally.
I look forward to us discussing it. It should be very exciting.
It literally is to the level of like, why are you talking about this character that's dead like they aren't? I don't understand. But that's all I've been playing, those 3 things.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I guess that means we should talk about other people when they're not here. Specifically, the Pod Lords.
Oh no!
Oh fuck!
Shit!
Yes, that's right. The Pod Lords.
Spill the tea.
Pod Lords such as
Holy shit!
E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, Tom goes to the narrative sweep.
Are those my tears?
Red
Sweeping
Blaze.
because they're the janitor.
Red Blaze 27. Juicifrost has to dip this month because PayPal screwed him over. Oh no. That's terrible. Suzushiro. Emperor Zero. Shibuya Gato. Yuki on his break.
Yeah.
Rado. 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF. Spider-Man. Here's the cuck arc. I know we call it Tom Ghosted narrative as a joke, but this is the same dog that was in the Toodle Day episode. What? We know that is the exact same motherfucking same looking dog.
Motherfucking wishbone looking ass.
We spent that whole fucking chapter being like, this dog is gonna marry other dogs.
Absolutely.
Oh shit.
DFW 3K. Muckbun. You may not like it, but this is what peak Sciencer performance looks like.
Sinker, but yes.
Sure! Kristen. Figma Demi-Fiend Nocturne and Raido Kuza Noha Devil Summoner Serotonin Edition. This new Padaron thing they got going on is kinda sucks, TBH, 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 TBH. Anyways, I have no images on my broken phone, so more Dommel. Kyle Bjork. BN12. Please, can we get one good news week? How about neutral? I'll take neutral.
Yeah.
Maddie Moe. Mizuki says, visit Los Pollos Hermanos today.
Yeah. He gives it a thumbs up.
Blig de Blue. Schlig des Poo. Monster Hunter. Ryzen and Raiden. Eternal. Cooper Tank. Jefferton alive!
No.
What?
Oh god.
A Podlord had some Adult Swim people show up at their college way back in the day and gave them cups.
My god.
No context Uchikoshi bit. How I'm trying to have my beautiful wife carry me around. If you're hearing that Podlord name and wondering what's up with that, go back to last week. Drive Typecam. Behold, Bellamy Benjamin Biscuits and his tiny grabbies. Indigo Sykes. Rear-facing Stray, showing you its butt as cats be doing. There are a slew of stories about villages that were destroyed by Hydreigon. It bites anything that moves.
Yo, it's the whole squad.
How smart of them to take Teehee's structure of the worst Kamen Rider show for the new Resident Evil show, yo.
It's not even in like the bottom 5. I'm sorry.
That really hit me like a train. Like, what the fuck's happening over there?
A raccoon that wonders about Cube.
It's really fucked up that thing's called Cube.
It's great. I love
Called
'em.
Cube, it's a ball. The devs really fucked up on this one. I
What
feel like
were
that's an
they
AVG.
thinking?
Yeah.
This is literally the conversation in the game.
Please remember that you matter, you are valid, and you deserve to be happy, so Shinji 16 doesn't have to hunt you down. Ugh. I literally just finished playing both of them. It's not fair. I don't... What games are these?
KOTOR.
Yeah, it's KOTOR. Yeah, it's just responding to the KOTOR news we got.
Great! The ultimate black magic was the cloud NFTs that were minted along the way.
Yeah.
This feeling, is it Amaro? No, it's triple cheese.
Yeah!
Don't underestimate triple cheese.
Never.
The Super Mim. Lane's World 25. You bought Anthem for a penny. I got Anthem for free. We are not the same. Sarlene. Timothy Pfister. No bit. Just kitty.
It's so
It's
packed in.
it's adorable.
It found the perfect spot.
Bearded Joe. Cleochrome. I already showed this one, but Krunglespum's got a really good image. So I'm showing it again.
Yeah, look at him.
I went 3 weeks without it, and I'm like, I'm gonna need a second hit.
Yeah, I know. That's the stuff.
And BBW Wild Wings 420 is replaying DMC 5 as Virgil for the 7th time. Thank you very much to our pod lords.
Thank you, Pod Lords.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pod Lord.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcasts. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to Chugging Bleach, our Bleach review podcast, wherein we review all of Bleach, extended armchair dev pitches and gamer premonitions when those shows force us to leave ideas on the cutting room floor, and a patron-exclusive show, one a month, where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you don't have any money, you can always help us by telling your friends, hosting Big Think Dimension on your Twitch channel on Thursdays, and just spreading the word in general. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you can't do any of that stuff, I hope things get better soon.
Same. Here we got news.
Whoa.
You heard
Yep.
about them news?
Yeah.
We
Little
got
chalky.
news. I'm going over to the news along with Hilda. Hey, Hilda, we got some news.
Man, that really changed her emotion there when she saw the news.
Yeah, she raised you. You know, it's hard to notice, but you know, Dr. Manhattan could the tiniest reflection in her eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're I guess we'll start with my stuff, guys. In a thing that I feel like I shouldn't care about, but I care about immensely. They removed the oof from Roblox.
They did, and I'm upset.
It was removed because of a gremlin that no one is an amigo with. That's the real problem here. Apparently,
Man.
some gremlin was responsible for making this sound and wanted more money, and they said, sorry.
I hear he didn't even make the sound. He just has a license to the sound.
Oh, that's fucking...
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what.
yeah.
God, that got you to see you podcast said.
Yeah, that's a real judgment day for them. They're gonna have to do their reviews on the run.
Yeah, they are. Soon Judgment Day will come for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They will fall in their electronic playground.
And they will get hurted, and they will cry for their mommy. We got some piddly news. I'll bust through it real quick. Firmware beta rolling out for the PS5. 1440p output. Hooray! That
Yeah.
seems like a thing you should be able to do in the era in which you have hardware scalers that work in any dimension.
Right.
Yeah, so somebody pointed out that this came out right as Sony's like, we also make monitors that are 1440p.
The weird thing is they made that 1440p monitor, and literally every human on Earth who covered it went, this shit doesn't even output in 1440p. So this beta firmware just came out like 2 weeks too late.
Right.
It's really funny. They added game lists, which are like game folders. You can have up to 100 games in a game list. You can have up to 15 lists. Weirdly, they don't seemingly stay on your main bar. They live in the library.
Yeah, it's
thing.
on,
But
that, it's
I
on
guess-
the library, so
but-
it's not as good.
but they're all the way at the top of the library.
At least they're, as long as they're consistently there, that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something.
It is something. PS5, as far as I know, still hasn't added a button to slam the cursor all the way to the right. Why is that not a thing? That was the thing on the PS4. You could just hit R1 and it would go all the way to the right. You still have R2,
weird.
guys. You can use R2. It'll be fine.
No, it's too many buttons.
Because R1 goes to media now. If anyone's curious why they didn't just carry that over, they made R1 go to the media tab. Anyway, let's see. You can now ask your bro to share their screen with you via the screen share functionality of the PS5. You could be like, let me watch. Please.
I just did
Wasn't this here already?
Randomly, and Phil just goes, "I'm playing Genshin. Leave me alone."
See, the way it sounds like is before you could share it, and then they could join in and watch. Now you can literally request them to share it at all.
Yes, that is what that feature is now.
So-
where it's like they want to see it right now.
Yeah, like, hey, dude, I just saw you play this game. Speaking of which, they have a thing where if somebody in your group, like, you can make groups of people. If somebody in your group starts playing a joinable game, they set up a joinable game of COD or whatever, it'll pop up with a thing where it's like, hey, do you want to join? Like, do you want to join them in this game of COD? So that's getting added. So that's like an instantly accessible thing. They're also adding easier access to in-game activities, which I'm worried that this will make the UI worse. Because what it looks like when you look at it is, how you select the game as an icon, and then below that has start, and then other things, and the triple dots.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's going to say resume activity somewhere beneath that, or somewhere next to start, or something.
So they're not like moving the activity cards up or anything. They're just
this is on the main OS. They're just adding a thing there. I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm going to need to see it in action. In theory, this is a benign and hopefully good thing. But I don't know. I'll need to see it play out. And my favorite thing they did that will have no impact for anyone anywhere. They now have the 3D audio Pepsi challenge where you can go, here's how it sounds in 3D and here's how it sounds normally. Which do you like? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in a game.
When I read this, I thought it was literally a different mode for 3D audio that would make it sound different, not literally just...
No, it's got the two sides, and it lets you look at the two icons while you're choosing.
Okay.
And decide whether you want 3D or normal.
I also thought it was what Bob said.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I read it completely wrong, but everything I read in the blog made it sound like it was just... Here, we put boxes with... Yeah, it's Pepsi. Soda's going to spray out of your machine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's just got the boxes describing, well, this is 3D and this is 2D. Switch between them to compare.
Huh.
And I'm like, based on everything I've ever done, the 3D audio just makes all audio sound worse.
Right.
It gives it a little bit more dimensionality at the cost of sounding way worse. But if you're all... Hear me out, and this is absolutely the logic Sony's using, believe me. If your audio already sounds like shit, you won't notice it sounding worse. So there you go. It's a neat feature for that.
I think I noticed it sounding bad even on my TV speakers, but
Well, the TV thing is a whole different can of worms of like, how do you make good 3D audio come out of a TV speakers? Weird news. The company Backbone made a PlayStation officially licensed iPhone controller. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It just plugs around it, basically.
It's very weird.
It is. It doesn't evoke PlayStation to me because it's just pure white like a DualSense. And I'm like, it just looks like a fucking normal controller. It doesn't make me go, ooh, PlayStation.
It doesn't have PlayStation buttons?
It does.
So there's something.
That's a thing. But then even the small buttons around it aren't like they look on a DualSense. There's like a red circular button and something that looks like 3 buildings. And then there's the options key. And then there's some other thing that has a new icon. I don't know what that one is. But yeah, it doesn't evoke it at all. In the comments, because of course I needed to see what the Twitter replies to this announcement was. Someone goes, oh man, they're ripping off Xbox. I can't believe it. And then someone else is like, remote play's been a thing since 2006. And that's when I stopped myself because I thought it would be funny, but people would take me way too seriously. I thought of just coming in there and being like, well, actually, it wasn't there at launch. The remote play feature was added to the PS3. But no, instead I just chuckled and moved along.
You're such a famed scholar of the PlayStation 3.
Let me tell you what the PS3 didn't come with at launch. Most of it.
It came with a scary sound and we liked it.
Yeah, back in my day, the PS5 or PS3 tried to scare us. And it worked. Actually
Made
good
us play
and
Lair.
actually good and worth it. No, not even once. The actually good and worthwhile feature or announcement news, whatever. PSVR 2 stuff. They gave us more sneak preview of exactly what's up, how it's different, etc., etc. Huge quality of life improvements in this thing because they have the cameras on the outside. You can now just see through the headset to your room and just look around, which is great because that is a feature on other controllers or other VR headsets.
Right.
Not all of them, but some of them. It also has the ability for you to map out the exact area you can play in your living room. This is helpful because if you get close to running into an object, you'll get the notification in game, which is great. Now, I don't think anything else has it at that level yet. They have like pillars and stuff you could set up, and it's like, well, obviously it's fair game. You set it up, so whatever's within these 4 pillars, you have now given over to the VR. And they'll warn you if you get too far past that. Or you can set up a perfect square. This seems a lot more granular, where it's like, I can go over here just fine, and there's a thing here, so don't let me go there. It looks really well done.
That's cool.
Also, I should know, I forgot to note it, you can activate the scene through the headset from an activity card. So that's just like hitting the PlayStation button and it'll be there. That's really good. That sort of thing needs to be really accessible. Because if you're strapped into a VR helmet, being able to see your fucking room should be a really easy thing to do.
Right. It should be easier than lifting the headset off your head.
Yes, and that's great. Okay, you know what? I'll talk about the cool new feature instead of the thing that was misreported first. Cool new feature, if you have a PS5 camera and you're playing PlayStation VR, it will film you while you broadcast, edit out the background entirely so people can see you in the corner of your VR stream with the headset looking and moving around and everything.
Oh, wow.
It looks really good. I was like, oh, this is actually really great. And if not for audio, then I mean, the headset's going to have a mic in it.
Uh-huh.
But that might be actually a really great way to do VR content in general, especially if you're a solo streamer, because it looks really professional to have you edited into the lower right corner. You have to try way harder than that if you aren't using this feature to do something like that.
Uh-huh.
Like having a green screen or depending on NVIDIA, machine learning green screen technology, which doesn't actually use a green screen, but I'm sure you've seen Zoom meetings where they edit out the background. This looks pretty great. Now for the thing everyone misreported.
Uh-oh.
So this is the same shit that's on the PS4. If you want to play a normal game or watch a movie or whatever, you can look at a virtual screen and see that. The way people misreported is they're like, VR games can now have a cinematic mode. I'm like, no, that's not what they were talking about. They were talking about you can go into a cinema mode for the headset so you look at things on a screen. It's not making the games run at 24 frames per second. Also, I saw people thinking 120 hertz is amazingly new, which not really. But anyway, this update was really promising. They still haven't told us the date. Given the supply chain right now, I understand.
Yeah,
but
I'm like, do they plan to just jump this on at the end of the year or something? Where we're getting so much info. I didn't think so.
Remember the PS5?
Yeah.
God, man. Fuck that. That era sucked ass.
Yeah, that was terrible. Every week a big thing is like, what is the release date? How much does it cost?
We just got the knife pointed at them.
You remember when they did a PS5 reveal event, showed us 5 frames of the UI, and then never said anything again?
Yeah, they're like, here's this cool blog update. Bye. We're like, but we want to... They're like, you can play PS4 games. And we're like, all of them, right? And they're like, bye. But yeah, I don't know, Bob.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to believe it's early next year based on previous leaks, but Sony's a little kooky. So maybe it'll just drop in November and no one will say anything.
Maybe. Who knows?
Let's see. We'll go through KZ's news real quick. Hey, KZ.
Hello.
Let's do it.
Okay. First up, this is coming from Randall Weems of Bloomberg. The Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is indefinitely delayed. Aspire fired 2 directors this month and said the project is on pause while they put out fires and figure out what they're doing because apparently the demo that was checked in on was terrible.
Yeah, they presented a vertical slice seemingly to Sony, and they did not love it.
Maybe they shouldn't have tried to turn this into a fucking action game. Maybe they should have tried to be a little bit more accurate to the original. I get that. I get the popular thing now is anything that involves numbers is gay, but
yes,
considering the amount of developers I would trust to make an action game, I can count on one fucking hand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should go for some, be less ambitious for the first original game you've ever made. Like, it's a remake, but you're still, Aspyr is not a dev. They port.
Yeah, by and large, they do ports and remasters, yeah.
I have to assume that the scope creep just got obscene. I'm going to bet it's being rebooted now.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Because KOTOR 1 is not a big game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like maybe 25 hours long if you do everything.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of that 25 hours long is, like, backtracking through the same... Like, the first chunk of the game, like, before you leave the first area, that's, like, probably, I would say, a third of the game with how much backtracking and stuff there is. And then the rest of the game is much shorter and more brisk.
Yeah.
And again, not that big. So, I don't know what the fuck... Like, it must have just gotten out of control.
100%. They definitely
and
wanted to turn...
I'm sure that action gameplay must have been dog shit.
Yeah. Or it wasn't pretty enough. I'm not sure which would have been the breaking moment for Sony co-publishing.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know what to expect from this remake. So I wasn't sure if they were going to be shooting for something where they reinvented gameplay-wise completely. Mm-hmm. But now with this, I guess they were.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, they were going because the original is just it's a tabletop system in real time.
Yeah, it's
like it's not.
It's like that pause combat shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember I played
turn-based with pause.
It's just like Neverwinter Nights. So I was like, oh wow, no.
You're like, haha, nice try, Star Wars.
You almost had me.
And again, this is going to be the thing I say every time an action RPG comes up forever now. People are like, oh, No More Heroes is kind of mid, but it's okay. No More Heroes has better combat than 99% of action RPGs ever made.
Yes. As somebody who played through all those games last year, yes. Sadly, yes.
So I don't know why everybody clings to this idea like, well, nobody can handle any numbers being involved at all, so let's make the worst thing you've ever seen.
It makes the executives really nervous to know they're spending this many millions of dollars for a thing that mechanically isn't too dissimilar to an old RPG. And it's like, you need to understand there are a lot of people that appeals to. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who want that level of engagement.
And also it's just like, oh, we're spending so much money, it can't be niche at all.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, basically.
That's one of those things where you know you're using Star Wars, so you have this broad interest anyway. Like you can have different things in that. You have all other IPs doing.
Like at this point, Sony just seize control of the project and give it to one of your studios. At least then I could be confident the combat would probably be fine.
Sony bends Knights of the Old Republic.
Sure.
Yes. Get John Garvin back in the room right now.
I mean, Mr. Field. This is a snippet for Big Think to mention in 2027. Mr. Field, did the original KOTOR have vaccines in it?
and right now I'm saying I don't remember because Mass Effect has the anti-vaxxer quest. That's not even a joke.
Oh no.
Okay, Mass Effect 1. There is a side quest where you talk to two people just standing randomly, like in the promenade or whatever, you know, the open area on the Citadel, the big space station. And they're having a conversation on whether or not to vaccinate a child, and it's literally like they almost literally say, "Well, what if he gets autism because of it?" And this was like their idea of great morality. BioWare has always been a really fucking Republican company, even though they're Canadian.
I can't write. I have these hammers instead of hands.
Well, that's great. Hey, KZ, what else is in the news?
I'm just thinking about how exciting the future of Big Think Dimension is going to be. But for the here and now, we got an update on Multiverse. We talked about it a little bit. LeBron is in the game. They're doing Rick and Morty for season 1 as separate characters. I think it was like Morty is coming at the start of season 1, and then Rick's a little bit later in.
I kept seeing this report as Rick and Morty being added, so I could never discern if it was like Rick and separately Morty,
or if it was Ice Climbers.
Right, it was Ice Climber situation.
Yeah. I was only able to figure out when they were like, Rick's coming later, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh wow, Morty's first. That's weird.
No, it's cool. They need more noodly people. Finn's currently it.
True.
Somehow Shaggy is less noodly than Finn and Morty.
Jake is pretty noodly.
He's more like just a tube. He's like a sausage.
Yes.
He's a French fry.
Yes.
And my last piece of news is the Tactics Ogre Reborn screenshots and info leaked through to some PlayStation related thing. It's supposed to be releasing November 14th.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to feature the following: fully voiced cutscenes, various quality of life stuff that you expect from these types of old games coming back. They're re-recording all the music live, updating the AI. They're getting rid of class leveling in exchange for character leveling. And it has a shitty filter on it like all of these do.
I'm not sure that's a filter. Because I looked at the sprite zoomed in and there's like changes that wouldn't be done by a filter.
So
like maybe a filter was involved in one step, but it looks like, because there's like stuff where it's like, okay, their legs are now more detailed.
Yeah. I've actually heard of cases where devs as an early step use shitty upscaling, like a waifu filter, which this is obviously not even that good.
Yeah, it looks horrible.
As like an asset generator thing. So this could end up being that situation where it's like they literally upscaled all the assets really brutally.
God.
And I wanted to secure it, but I couldn't find the tweet that had both next to each other, because you can look at like their feet, and it gets narrower where the feet meets the leg on the new sprites, and then flares back out like they have tight boots or something, and that isn't on the original sprites at all, and upscaling would not add that.
Weird.
Yeah, I really hope there's a way to turn on original graphics, but this game isn't even officially announced, so we don't have any of that sort of info.
Yeah. I'm surprised we have so many screenshots. It was nice seeing them like slowly adapt the, I guess the Evilise looking type stuff, where it's like all the bars and the UI is just really FF12-ish compared to the original. Where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is in that style. I've seen nothing of this game before. I just knew that it was kind of in that zone.
I don't remember if it had those bars before. Did you go back and look at the PSP version? Because it might have.
I did look. It did not. A lot of this stuff, UI wise, is new.
Okay.
Because they did have comparison shots where I'm like, oh, I remember these like bars that are just like in 14 and FF12 and all of those types of games. I'm interested in trying it. It doesn't repulse me on the level of some of the other ones, but it does look bad, and I really, really hope there's something that scrubs it a little bit. But I like that they're rebalancing aspects of this game, because the people that have actually played it I saw went, thank God, in terms of some of the changes they did. So
yeah, I remember leveling classes separately was a pain.
Yeah, I remember, because like you said, because the game didn't have character levels. It had like it had like a skill point system, but every character of the same class was the same level because the class had the level. That's how somebody described it to me, and then I guess they went, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I remember there was something that made me not want to continue playing it, whereas I loved Final Fantasy Tactics. But I came to this shortly after that, the PSP version of that. It was just like, this doesn't seem as good, but then I've no other people like Eric loves the PSP one more than any Final Fantasy Tactics. He swears by it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one I've only just vaguely heard people talk about, so I'm excited for it to for me to end up trying it as we prepare for when they do something very weird to the sprites of Final Fantasy Tactics.
God. Yeah, you better be able to turn this off. This is really bad.
Yeah. It seems
Dude,
bad
you're
to
gonna
fuck
take
it
a
up at that
visit to an
point.
office at this rate. You're like, I got to talk to a couple people right now. But yeah, that should do it for me. That's all of my. That's everything I got on my docket.
Gotcha. Let's move to Phil. Phil.
Okie dokie. So that Gollum game that released a gameplay reveal trailer like 2 weeks ago, and it had some real, we got movement working, guys, we did it.
You mean the first next-gen game that was announced?
Yes.
Yeah, that shit's delayed for, they said, a couple months.
Shock!
Yeah. I love that they just went a few months in like their PR details, which I'm like, well, that's like the second worst thing you could say. The other one is the Ubisoft during fiscal year from 2 years and now it might be out.
Yeah.
Funko Pop. Nobody. Like
like this is the ultimate game made for no one. Who wants a Gollum game?
Not only that, but it's a Gollum game where they didn't seem to want to try. Because somebody was like, hey, why didn't you get Gollum? Why didn't you get Andy Serkis?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we wanted, this is a prequel. And what they said years ago was like, well, this is before those movies, so he's more human. Then stuff comes out, looks exactly like fucking movie Gollum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're already dead in the water. Like you've already fumbled the bag by not getting Andy Serkis.
100%.
This is that one time I try to look up the stuff about a game when it's coming out, just because out of interest for like a AAA thing. This is a AAA Gollum game. You can't trick me into even looking at it.
This is not AAA.
They seemingly pretended like it was going to be.
They're free to lie as much as they want.
Yes, they're lying about it being a AAA thing, but they couldn't even get me to like look at it.
It's crazy. They've been able to afford to be in production for what, 3+ years, but they can't get Andy Serkis. And he'll work with Ninja Theory.
I know.
Yeah.
Do video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Funko Pop has announced a AAA Funko Pop action platformer. It does not seem to be like IP focused because their teaser trailer introduces Freddy Funko, who will presumably be the protagonist of this game. The teaser trailer uses the Red Letter Media stock Music Bank song.
It does. You jump scared us when you made us listen to it, but it's going slower.
It is being made by 10.10, which is an indie studio with like 40 employees that is head by someone who worked on a bunch of Lego games. So at least they might be able to make something that doesn't feel terrible. But if Funko thinks that people are going to line up for a Funko Pop game like not branded with anything, they're insane.
Yeah, the only thing they sell on is, oh man, there's a figure related to the show you like. Yeah, like it's not, they don't care about anything else.
Yeah, that's all they care about. You know, our live chat is right. We are one step closer to my old pitch of Final Funko Fantasy 6.
Did you know that Gears Funko shit came out 3 years ago?
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited for Gears Month.
Excited for Gears Month.
Oh God. Do you have to check that out? Is that part of the deal?
I don't think that still exists actually.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still playable.
Yeah.
But if it is, we will.
Yes. In August.
I love that for you.
Meta, which formerly Facebook, has reported $10.2 billion in losses for its alternate reality / virtual reality division in 2021, and expects those losses to increase meaningfully in 2022. So last year they lost $10 billion. They expect to lose more this year.
How did you spend that much?
They jacked up the price on Quest 2 a lot.
So $100.
$100 extra. That's insane.
Oh, you guys aren't buying it now. Just you wait. You're gonna regret this. This bitch doesn't bend over. You fucking are gonna serve me now for $100. What do you mean even more of you aren't buying it?
What do you
Fuck
mean?
you,
There's
what?
more competition coming out later this year.
Oh no. We thought
And
you would
this-
buy it more because it's more premium because the price is higher.
Yes, they
But
bedazzle it.
They put Beat Saber in for like a couple months.
That's true.
That's
They
it.
bundled
Apparently
it.
even that's leaving.
Yeah, they bundled Beat Saber with it for a few months and charged $100 more. I'm just saying the least they could do was bedazzle it.
Yes.
Just put some jewels. Jesus.
And this was really funny when I found it out. So last year, Apple gave people on iOS the ability to opt out of like ad tracking, like having your data taken.
Yeah.
This simple change has cost Meta over $10 billion.
Yep.
Oh man, that's their
Yay.
loss. That's literally their loss.
Because Meta literally has no business structure other than selling your fucking info.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it. That's all they get money for.
That's
don't-
awesome.
They don't earn it. They're just selling your fucking information.
Burn.
Next up, there seems to be a near-related ARG going on, an ARG.
That for people who don't know, that's an acronym for meme.
Yes.
Maybe something to be announced soon. Maybe something related to the upcoming Switch port. So what happened is somebody posted a video on Reddit of them accessing a secret area in the game that nobody had ever found before. Then Lance McDonald, Manfight Dragon on Twitter, who did the Bloodborne 60 FPS mod.
And he's done a lot of Nier Automata and God of War hacking in the past, but his
Yeah.
channel's mostly about Soul stuff.
Is like, none of this stuff's here.
I think he's corrected it after this many days to go, okay, that line of text was in the game elsewhere. None of the rest of the shit's here. How are
And
they showing this?
More videos of more ludicrous things have come up of like an enemy that's not in the game. Stuff that's like enemies from the remake of 1 from Near Replicant are in places, and all the modding community is like, we can't do shit like this.
Right.
We don't know how to make shit in Excel. How
So
do they
there's
do it?
there's two possibilities here. One is that this is some sort of secret mod effort and they're just having fun, which I don't think is very likely. Because modders have pretty consistently been, we don't even know how you'd begin doing this.
Yeah.
And the other one is, this is related to that Switch port, and they're going to announce something, which I maybe it'll be like, there's new stuff in the Switch version, and we're also doing a next gen version of these games.
Very possible.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like, I feel like we're getting close to the time when they would be making a new Nier game.
That would make sense.
It
yeah.
feels like that
Yeah.
way.
It's been
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
It's been
Like
fun.
they-
Well, they did that remake, which was, they literally rebuilt it.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
they,
but
they did a new game and called it a remake.
Even that one, it's done by another company.
Yeah, like Toy Logic. I
Yeah,
think
Toy
that's-
Logic
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
on it.
Honestly-
and he didn't have
honestly,
to
I-
rewrite
I-
it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would see them making the new one more than Platinum.
Very possible.
Platinum's
very.
busy.
Yeah.
I didn't play a lot of Replicant, but I did find it to be serviceable in a way that I did not find the original Nier to be. So
Yeah.
if they're the ones making a new one, I'll be like, I will play it.
But yeah, Platinum says that they are working on other stuff for third parties that's unannounced.
That's true.
And that feels like that Nier Automata is what saved their company. And
So you'd have to
I
be
feel like that.
I feel
That
like
is
they
true.
stupid to turn that down.
I feel like
They did literally say that. After Microsoft fucked them, they were like, thank God Nier was here.
Thank God that
Mine-
ass saved our lives.
Minor news, Nippon Ichi Software teased their summer greeting card, which is usually like a preview of an upcoming game. I put it in the Big Think channel under a spoiler.
It's
So
very
that is
cool.
that is very likely the protagonist of Disgaea 7.
Yeah,
Or
unless they're
related
doing a
to Disgaea
spin-off.
7 at least.
And
Yeah, unless they're doing one of their weird spin-off games like Makai Kingdom or Phantom Brave, but they haven't done a strategy ones of those in a while.
They haven't.
They focused on like different genres, like that fucking Labyrinth of Galeria shit.
So
Or,
Nippon Ichi
we-
already posted this online.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good to show it. There we go.
Yeah, so we get to see the samurai dude, some cat girl. And then in the lower right, is that Paimon?
No, I think that's dot level. I think that's dot level over there.
Oh, you're kidding me.
It's so far away, though. It could be anything.
Could be anything.
It could be Popko.
It could be Asagi.
We just don't know. Maybe it's time.
it's time.
Asagi sweep.
It's finally time. Maybe based on a rumor. People are getting heads up that maybe Stadia will be shutting down at the end of summer.
Oh no! What happened?
So
it seems to be the rumor is September. Subscribers will get a refund for the last month and any outstanding months they've paid for.
I have a few.
I don't think I'll get them.
I have all of them.
There is no successor product.
Oh no!
It's going to be like when they shut down Google Music.
Who could have foreseen this?
Add it to the website.
What a surprise.
So what you're saying is I should just write it out. I mean, it's only a couple more months.
Yeah, you should. It's not like you can find a way out.
It was like, doesn't summer technically end in what?
I mean,
September? August?
it would be...
September is what I would say it is.
Right, so there you go. I let it end, and then I get to talk to main Google branch as I go, hey, you committed fraud. You need to fucking pay me back.
You need to give me $700 right now.
And since the Stadia division shut down, they're like, oh, those chuckle fucks, what did they do? Cool.
They fucked me.
But that is my news.
Bob.
Yeah, what's up?
Let's go.
Sure. We had a big interview this week with Stefan Dastus. I want to say disastrous, but that's obviously not his name.
Stefan Disastrous. Is he a fucking wrestler?
Yes. No, he's the founder of Eidos Montreal.
Oh, okay.
To set the tone for this dude left in 2013.
So it's been a while. 9 years.
It's been a long time. He's not directly involved with the company at all at this point, clearly.
Yeah.
But he had a lot to say about the way that things were managed when he was there.
That makes sense.
Square constantly set unreasonable expectations. There was 2012. They were supposed to make $65 million.
Well, that seems reasonable for a game studio.
They didn't have any deliverables, so we didn't ship anything that year.
Now, Bob didn't give you the timeline. This is when I go... But the Avengers was out, right? Maybe they expected 65 million in DLC sales or cosmetics. And then he goes, no, this was 2012. And I'm like, they didn't have a service game in 2012?
They didn't release DLC. They didn't release a game. They didn't release anything. There was nothing to have bought.
Were they expecting a bank heist?
I don't know.
I checked like the dates on things.
Mm-hmm.
The only things that shipped while this dude was at Square Enix seems to have been Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light.
I believe that's the Marbles of Madness, yeah.
And Deus Ex 1.
Yes, and then he worked on setting up Thief Team, and Thief released next year.
Yeah. So they were in development of things.
Yeah.
Isn't that the bad thief that killed the franchise?
Yes.
Bob's
there's even a line in here.
I beckon you to expand your mind. What if they're all bad ones?
I think the Thief series is neat.
Yes,
I don't think it's as sellable as Legacy of Kain or something.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference between like niche immersive sim and then what they tried to turn Thief into, which is like they tried to make it like a Sony first party game from 7th gen. They tried to do like a 10-hour set piecey thing that was insane.
To some extent,
that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
The way I went through it, the way I experienced it, almost reminded me of the original Dead Island. Like, it just, something about you're in first person, it controls like shit, it runs at 30 frames per second. They specifically hallway you at the beginning until you experience the story as it's set up. And then they let you loose, and by then I stopped caring. I played this game for the first time last year.
I'm noticing that the trend of Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal under Square Enix was makes what we think a Sony game is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude actually complained about how the way Thief came out, because I guess after he left, they rushed it. He was like, they need another 9+ months plus to make it better.
Oh,
I don't think that would have helped, but okay.
Yeah, probably not. Strangely, he also complains a lot about the London management, which is original Eidos, now known as Square Enix Europe.
See,
okay.
I looked into this dude,
Yeah.
and like, not to be a dick, but
Uh-oh.
I feel like when you change jobs every 18 months,
Oh, yeah.
like, maybe you ever heard that saying, like, if you meet an asshole, you met an asshole, but if you only meet assholes, you're the asshole?
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be a little bit of that, especially considering his current job is a consulting firm named after himself, and his LinkedIn image is himself with sunglasses and a gigantic cigar.
Well, you've basically described Mark Cerny. That's totally what his logo is for his LinkedIn image or whatever, right?
Yes, definitely.
Oh my god.
Hail to the king. Oh man, he was at
Also, he
Quantic
worked
Dream.
at Quantic Dream. Yeah, he was supposed to be the head of Quantic Dream's new Montreal studio without sex predation. That was literally part of the pitch when David Cage announced it. He was like, "In this one, there will be no harassment." And then I think he was at that studio 7 months and left, because it was founded last year and he already left at the end of this year.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like he was at
Here's
Eidos
his
Montreal.
picture.
That looks fake, Jesus.
Now I have to show it. It looks like for Eidos Montreal, he was there for January 2007 to October 2013.
Yeah, that was the longest one, but then he has like 7 things between then and now.
Yeah. Oh man, I can totally see that though. Give me one second.
Holy shit, that's such a good photo.
Fucking great, actually. But Bob, what were you saying?
But yeah, a bunch of just unresponsiveness from the London management. A lot of it is complaining about that, which sounds like it hasn't changed the whole time, which would explain everything even going forward. Like, after this dude left, we got a lot of the same sort of level of bad games coming out of them. So if it was literally just, Square Japan let Square
Europe kind of
run
fuck things up.
I mean, we know that's what they did. They did that interview where it's like, we don't look at these projects.
Yes. So this reaffirms that again, but you cast even more shade on that London studio.
I forgot they had a London studio because of how, like,
it doesn't. I can't even tell if they actually make games or if they're there to tell what these other studios to do.
Yeah, you have to wonder.
They're like, you can speak English. You're in charge.
Yeah, this is on you, man.
It seems like, it really does seem like it's just they don't make things
you
there.
look different.
Only a little different.
They're just like the executive. I wonder if Embracer's just gonna bust their kneecaps.
Yeah, I imagined if they want to get the actual IPs they want out of them, probably just gonna be like, no, we're gonna work with the studios, not with you. It's through this then to work with the studios.
Yeah, I do see, if nothing else, Embracer's gonna be like, we're not giving you money to make a knockoff Sony game. You fucking make a Unreal Engine 4 remake of Legacy of Kain 1 and shut the fuck up.
Embracer's like, what do you mean you want $250 million for one game?
I was super surprised. The Marvel deal was written before this dude left in 2013.
That's fucking insane.
That's crazy, because it felt like they announced that shit when the ink went dry in like 2015.
I know,
when they
right?
did that first Avengers trailer, and then it went dark for 3 years. And I remember that because Guardians of the Galaxy leaked that year that they were making that. So it's like 2 years before even that it already got signed.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. This thing that they set on that deal for that long.
Jesus.
I don't. And there also is a line about how the fiscal earning reports would always include 2 lines to the Japanese company, like, we were disappointed with certain games, they didn't meet expectations, and they were only about games made outside Japan, which would be assumed.
Right.
Yeah, I always assume that. At this point, I just think it's funny because it's like, that was the reality. I remember the news feed about Tomb Raider fucking the first one.
Yeah, I mean, just as outsiders, we were hearing
we
Square
saw
Enix
that.
say the
It's like
same shit.
we knew this is the thing that they did.
I feel like Square Enix saying Tomb Raider 2013 didn't sell enough became like the joke, one of those everybody brought up for years.
Yes.
But
And then you look into it and it's like, what do you mean Square Enix cut the price to $5 almost instantly? No shit.
Yeah, it was that's why I own the first Tomb Raider like that. They cut the price so quick.
I believe I owned it because I had some friends that liked the multiplayer of Tomb Raider, and also it was $1.
And during this interview, he also mentions rumors, and he's unclear if he's just talking about rumors in general, rumors he knows among his like associates and people who he's worked with, but all about Sony wanting to buy Square Enix, not being interested in in the non-Japanese parts. And that's why they would sell off.
See,
the other
that
stuff.
sounds like bullshit to me. That sounds like bullshit to me, and here's why.
Okay.
I think Sony is, except, on a macro scale, Sony is not a stupid company.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they want to own these IPs that are closely related to the PlayStation brand?
See, here's the thing. I think that the value of those IPs doesn't hit high enough for Sony, who has so many IPs of their own that they could be doing. Like, you have to sell Sony. Like, you have to sell me on the concept that somebody at Sony is sitting there being like, we get Tomb Raider. We already have Uncharted. That's not a new market segment. We'd be competing with ourselves. Like, I think they would have a brain block about that. And as we just went into, even like Square Enix was like, oh, no, not Legacy of Kain. No one likes vampires. Go make Thief and Tomb Raider. And I'm sure Sony would come to the same conclusion of like, no.
The Tomb Raider thing absolutely makes sense because they're like, okay, that's a legacy PlayStation associated brand that has morphed into copying us. So its identity now is the Uncharted with Lara Croft, and that really doesn't have an appeal that's going to make them get a team to spend $250 million.
Right, and while Embracer Group's brilliant, they'll make soup from the bone marrow.
They will, and it's
yeah. I will be stunned if 1 year from now, so July 28th or whatever on 2023, if we don't know about the existence of some sort of like remake or collection for every one of those franchises.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
God,
no company, no publisher says like evokes the image of using the whole animal more than Embracer.
I really respect their nature.
Embracer Group also does a thing that's really fucking funny to me, where they treat everything they release like it's a huge deal, and it seems to sort of be working a little bit.
See, well, I mean, part of it is like every release they do has the Kickstarter version.
Yeah, they do the collector's editions, or you can say it's $200 for a figure if you want.
Right, destroy all humans. Here's your $350 version.
Or SpongeBob's PS2 remaster is getting an expensive statue.
KZ.
Yeah.
That's much more valid than doing it for Destroy All Humans.
dude, of course.
Destroy All Humans is an entire game series based on the logic of it's kind of funny when the alien sounds like Clint Eastwood.
Hey, Phil, it's also based on it's kind of funny when you shoot ray guns in an open world.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, I think I rented one of those and went, this was funny. I have no interest in playing through the whole thing. And that was when I would play anything. I was like 13 or 14, like fucking whatever.
I enjoyed the first one. It was very funny to probe people. Somehow they made 2 more of those after.
Yeah, I think they're remaking the second one now or something.
Yes, they are.
Holy shit.
Cool. Yeah. But I think it's feasible.
I think that could be either. It could be him saying things that are in the news cycle, or it could be him saying things.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
There was a non-insignificant amount of people were already saying this is why they sold those companies, is because they're preparing to be bought. So it doesn't really.
Sony did earmark an enormous fucking. They earmarked. $18 billion for acquisitions, and I'm sure some of that went to Bungie and Haven.
I think Bungie was actually prior to the announcement of how much money they had for this year. And they had a lot of money left over after Bungie. Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, they gave them an insane amount because a lot of their stuff right now is prepping the Haven support studio stuff with cloud technology, and Bungie for the how do we make service stuff, which just seems to be like a big part of why they picked up Bungie.
Yeah. Technology and experience.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of technology polls at the moment. So this is the one acquisition where it's just like, we want that thing that we always pay exclusivity for all the time anyway.
It's funny because it's like Microsoft buys Bethesda, and that cucks PlayStation gamers out of like Elder Scrolls and Doom and all sorts of other things.
Right.
Sony, if they were to buy Square Enix, it's like that shit wasn't shipping on Xbox.
It was like Square. They cut Nintendo fans out of the re-release of Tactics Ogre.
I wouldn't even see them cutting off Nintendo, honestly.
Honestly.
With Bungie.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. Would we really would they not do Live Alive because of this? I don't think so. I think they would.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like they know the appeal of the HD 2D stuff. I think what would happen is they're in that same zone that Xbox is, where they're like, we're cool with Nintendo because we don't consider them real. So we can work with them, but fuck those other guys over there that are on the other real big console.
Yeah, so we're in such a weird spate where it's like, yeah, Sony could buy them, but none of their big stuff ships on Xbox anyway, and we don't even know what the conditions of the Sony exclusivity deals are. Like, again, and I've mentioned this before, it might not even be money. It might be like access to Sony's development pipeline to get resources and stuff, because I know for a fact that tons of shit in, like, the Tonberries in Stranger Paradise are just from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
Like, that's the same fucking model. So if Sony's like, do this and we make you a shitload of assets you can use in all your shit for the next decade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's always that element of it. And, like, Final Fantasy 14 still isn't on Xbox. They mentioned it. Well, maybe we'll do it someday. They mention that every year.
I remember,
maybe someday.
Consistently.
I remember the Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't on Xbox. That's what my brain always hones in on. I was like, 7 Remake should be on Xbox by now. That's absurd. I keep forgetting 14 isn't there.
Yeah, you asked one time in our server,
it was a year ago.
Is that on there and what's going on with it? And I gave you the blurbs they said one time about it.
Yeah.
The remake thing was really insane because they put that sticker on Final Fantasy VII Remake at launch that said how long it would be an exclusive style thing.
Yeah.
And then it never came to Xbox. And that event happened where everyone's like, coming to Xbox, baby, because they're going to announce it. And then they're like, here's a sequel. Here's a Steam port. Get fucked. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, now it's on PC. That's what we meant.
That's an Xbox.
I was almost convinced that it was going to appear on Xbox, and then it just didn't. The only tangible benefit my brain can see off that acquisition is, I don't know, maybe the fucking HD 2D games can go on PlayStation, because none of them are.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Even Octopath Traveler, that is a very delicious looking 6, is on everything but PlayStation.
Yeah. When it comes to this stuff, I actually don't see, like, the only thing I floated as a potential positive would be, like, I guess 7 Remake could look even more like 7 Remake Part 2 could look even more like a Sony first party game.
There's like corporate consolidation. Like, there's no good.
No.
Yeah, there's no really good here. I had to scratch just now to present a benefit that could happen from this, because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
also, Chet makes a good point. We're getting a Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake for Xbox.
Did they
that's
have
coming out on Xbox?
Yeah, that's what? I had no idea.
All right.
That and Stranger of Paradise might be the only Final Fantasy games that Xbox gets for the next several years.
All right.
Man, okay. Weird. We should move on, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
They put out a new Star Ocean trailer. Star Ocean's the Divine Force, for anyone who's wondering.
Yeah.
They announced that we'll have crackdown orbs. You can go around the open world, collect your gems, and level up your gear.
Great.
That's good. You know what? I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I love crackdown orbs, man.
I would much rather the Skittles just be something that I use to upgrade myself than like in Xenoblade, where the Skittles are items I use for quests and upgrading that colony, so I have to keep track of what I have. Like,
yeah,
I much just
it's really weird. I didn't really find a lot of benefits in that, by the way. Like, I came out going, why did I do this? Why did I go this hard? Why did I grind for 20 hours for Colony 6?
Wait a minute, why did I do this?
That was really my moment when I was playing through that for video.
I forgot about that whole colony thing, but that's there and real. Oh no.
By the way, there's a character in AI, the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative, who sounds exactly like, wait a minute, why'd I do that?
Okay.
But how did this look? I did not see this trailer, but I am very excited for Star Ocean 6.
I mean, it looks like Star Ocean 6.
It looks like the best Star Ocean in the wild.
It does look like the best game Tri-Ace has put out in years. So I'm still excited for it.
Don't stumble on that bar while you walk past it.
Yeah. I was wondering whether or not it raised your interest up or down.
From what they've shown, it does not look weirdly hollow. So I'm pretty happy about that.
That's good.
Yeah.
After 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After every JRPG in 7th gen.
It looks like it might be a complete video game.
That's exciting.
Star Ocean 4 was a complete video game.
It was a complete something. It sure was.
Yeah,
it had so much content. It had so much fucking content. It's so much content.
Don't remind me how I'm 60. I got 60 hours in and lost my save, and now I'm like, I'll never play it again.
Available now in 4K.
I think I fell out of Star Ocean 4 like the 4th or 5th time. It was like, okay, go through this really long dungeon. Beat the boss, there's a cutscene. Why am I standing in the boss room?
Walk out, feel what's the problem?
What?
Oh yeah.
Come on.
That's the thing Star Ocean 4 loves doing to you. Also, it did the thing that terrible games do that luckily is no longer an issue, because I played, and this wouldn't be an issue if you played it now. This was a problem because I played it on Xbox 360, where certain areas are only on certain discs.
Oh god!
Oh, I never played that version. I didn't know.
It's like a PC FMV game, like how the Ripper has 6 discs.
Because on PlayStation 1, I think every single, unless the game was entirely linear, in which case I don't fucking know. But every Final Fantasy had the entire game on every disc. All that was like what took up the space was the FMVs.
Yeah, you didn't have to go back. Like, if you went back to an area that you didn't put in the old disc. You didn't have
to switch discs. The only game I can remember doing that to you is Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete on PlayStation 1. I remember there being a fucking valley you had to walk through on the world map, and when you got to the middle of it, went change discs. But yeah, Star Ocean 4 on 360 did that to you.
Oh, we're still in Star Ocean 4. I'll be back.
No, I'm done. It's over.
I'm terrified someday I'm going to have to play that game. That mortifies me.
Yeah,
be very fucking afraid for Star Ocean Quarter.
That's okay. At least 5 will be short.
Honestly, yes. Until you get to one of those fucking missions where they're like, this person's gonna go type on the computer and hack, so you gotta defend them from the enemies that will never target you.
What is this, fucking Destiny?
Yes, they have multiple of those missions. They will run past you to hit them, and she goes down in like 2 or 3 hits. They infuriated me. It's one of the few things I remember from that game.
That's insane.
And yeah, very easy to believe that it's in that game.
Yes.
Yes, see, I could have made something up, but no, that's absolutely real. That game's real. That game's really funny. Again, my favorite track in that game. I'm like, this is climactic and epic, and I look it up, and it's from Star Ocean 3.
Yeah, of course.
Where I'm like, wait, this is using like real instruments, and Sakuraba isn't asleep. What's going on?
Oh.
God damn it.
But let's move on.
Yes, my next thing. We got GTA 6 details. For people who don't know, that's Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, I've heard of that.
That series has been dormant for a long time. I'm very interested in details here.
This is from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It will be a pair of leading characters. One of which will be a Latino woman.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now this is funny because the way it's written in your notes is a Latina woman, and as I read that, I'm like, what else would a Latina?
woman.
And then I started going into Filipina, and then I'm like, that's fair. People probably don't even don't even process it when you go Latina. They're like, ooh. Yeah. What's his name?
Right. Yeah, no, you need to you need to confirm.
Yeah. Okay, so do we know anything about the guy?
We don't know anything about the other character.
character.
We don't know if it's a guy. We don't know anything about them.
If you're watching the video, you just saw me smile as I realized, wait a second, what if it isn't a guy? What if it's two badass bitches? Ooh.
They did say it's inspired by Bonnie and Clyde, was a bank robber sort of aesthetic. So who knows? Maybe it is two women. We don't know.
Are the two characters based on that or just the one?
It was described about this one character.
Okay, so it could
go either way.
It could. That'd be pretty cool. I would like that.
They said they're going to be more cautious not to punch down marginalized groups, so less racist humor and that sort of thing.
Well, of course, modern crime shows don't have that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. There isn't a lot of racism in Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I'm like,
instead, they're just going to do what the boys does and just make fun of corporate culture.
They're getting woke. It's horrible.
That's what I said. You know what? Thank you for giving me an on-ramp to talk about this. We do the fucking Resident Evil Netflix spoiler cast. And within a day, people were like, it's really awful that they had to make Resident Evil woke. And I'm like,
what part of that? I hate to tell you this, but like going with antidepressants will end the world is kind of the opposite.
I know.
And it's like, that's not woke. You're just racist.
Yeah.
But
it's just that they have people of color as the main cast. All right.
It really opened my eyes when I clicked on some moron streaming Prey, and they sat on the title, like they sat on the do you want to play as the male protagonist or female protagonist for 20 minutes bitching that the female was even an option.
Wow.
God.
And I'm like, oh, they're really just crazy.
Imagine being that stupid. Yeah, it's confounding. You can't predict being that stupid. You would have thought so radical.
Also, they're obviously lying. Who cares? Like, I would put down $100 now that the usage of the N-word in GTA 6 will be over in the double digits.
That's why you saw me have that reaction at the beginning of they promised they'll stop punching down on minority groups. And I'm like, sure.
Remember when Dead or Alive 6 was like, we're not going to be sexy?
Yes.
Yeah, I also remember when they did it with 5.
Yeah, they did it with 5 as well. God.
It was stupid marketing.
Christ.
Yeah,
we're gonna be a serious fighting. I'm like, no, you're not.
It's gonna happen again. Where GTA 6 is gonna come out. And a Japanese VTuber is going to play it and mimic the words they think sound funny.
Yes.
Because that happened with 5 with that one scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to happen again. However, I will boil those motherfuckers if they use the term Latinx in that game. Good lord. I'm so fucking tired of that. It's one of the corporate people in The Boys said it, and I'm like, this is the most evil thing you've done in the show so far.
Yeah, if they have if they have their pulse on it, they will use it in a repugnant manner like that.
Yes, it's really perfect anytime they do corporate woke stuff, and I'm like, this is insidious. You've done such a great job.
The game's gonna be set in a fictional Miami.
Because Miami isn't real, as we all know.
Yeah, we know. I don't know why. Like, isn't that what Vice City is?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
okay. I don't know why it was worded like this. Maybe it's a different thing.
It just doesn't know. Just doesn't isn't aware enough to say Vice City.
Prince Grav and chat with Miami.
But the weird thing here they plan to expand out the map and missions after release.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, a little
That's
bit.
something I would want. I have no interest in your online, but more actual stuff would be good.
But I just want to have a whole package that feels whole. And when one of the first things I hear about your game is that it will expand after launch, it makes me concerned.
It also still sounds like it's going to be the biggest one at launch. So I don't know. And there will be more interior stuff.
Yeah, see, it sounds like to me that this is like, I'm worried that this is going to be some weird fusion of the online portions and the single player portions.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they already separated Grand Theft Auto Online out. It just seems weird for them to do it again. It's like what they did with Red Dead Redemption, where it's like, we need a second infinite money printer.
If they do really it right, this could be a lot more exciting to me. Like, as long as there's a full story at launch,
yeah,
and then they just add more stuff on later, that's way more exciting to me than, oh, there's a new bank heist for multiplayer only, because I'll never touch that. But if they add something, a new mission for me to play single player,
it could be. It would be fine if it's like, okay, like if they do it almost like seasons, like we added a new city to the overall map, and there's also a story in that city with new characters, with a new protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, that could be cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can view this through the lens of old GTA DLC, like GTA 4, and it's cool. Like a new city opens up, you drive over there, you're gay now, and your name's Tony.
Yes,
and there's ballads everywhere.
If it's something like we're making a platform for the foreseeable future to make more single player GTA content, because what I don't want is like to get to the end of this story is these two characters and be like, guess we have to wait to season 2.
Yeah, that would. I'm so sick. If there is one thing I am sick of for reviewing all this content, that we do, it is anything that doesn't have a definitive ending.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm starting to go insane. When Resident Evil Netflix did that, I was like, you have already wronged me so much across the last 8 hours.
You see, I was just thinking of modern video game stuff. So I was thinking of Halo Infinite, where it's like, I want to hit the end of the GTA 6 campaign feeling like something was achieved. And I played a chunk of Rockstar campaigns, mostly the old ones. I feel like they start losing me by the end. So if it ends up being a little leaner, but still feels like you told me a story, I'll be okay with it. San Andreas is too long. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, San Andreas' goal was to be too big and too long.
I just realized I haven't finished 5 or San Andreas. I got really far in both and just stopped.
San Andreas becomes a... San Andreas... The problem with San Andreas is you get to the end, and it's like, do these gang territory takeovers for like 4 hours.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Because you have to have like total global saturation to be able to access the last mission.
God, because I got to the third city in San Andreas and was like, I've had enough. I'm sorry.
And then GTA 5 I was like, this is on a 7th gen console. This feels and looks like shit. I don't want to play it anymore.
I'm trying to think of I was trying to think of the last game that gave me that Rockstar sensation of there's just too much here that San Andreas did. And it was fucking Days Gone.
Yeah, that's
when I started walking through that snowy area and they play a song, I was like, oh fuck me. That was the exact same vibe where I'm like, oh man.
It's okay, Bob. You know why?
Why is that?
Because they updated the trilogy remastered, so you can now beat San Andreas in more definitive equality than ever.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it, right?
Uh-huh.
I hear the rain isn't horrifically incorrectly made now, so that's cool.
You just look at your dude's face in that one view.
And they also added fog at all when you go into the air, so you don't see the edges of the perfectly square map.
Great.
Good.
Along with this information about the game, we also got stuff about how Rockstar Games themselves is trying to clean up their act and become a better company.
Okay.
That's cool.
So they're trying to reduce overtime, convert contractors to full-time.
That's outstanding. Holy shit.
Yeah. Ousting abusive managers. There's new health and leave benefits.
Like leave time benefits?
Yeah, leave time.
Okay.
Good.
So all that sounds like good stuff. Maybe they are actually trying to turn the company around. It's always good to see, we're actually firing people.
They certainly have enough money to turn it around. Like,
Yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah.
If they don't, then nobody does.
Right.
Yeah, honestly.
do you think, like, obviously we've talked about the GTA 5 scam before, where you get like $40 of currency for $20 when you buy the game, and that's why it's sold like 80 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're worried, like, we can't do that again, so this game is going to sell like a quarter as many copies as GTA 5? Do you think there's like internal worries about that, like how it looks?
I don't think so, because they didn't resort to that until years in. Like that was like 5 years after launch.
Yeah, it was a while.
So they don't have to think about that until another 5 years in, and then they can do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's gonna remember that.
Besides, their plan is to be like a Genshin Impact or something. You know, something with a long
that is what
games
I
as a
thought
service
about how
scale.
when they described this, like, which is part of why I'm like, please make each one a contained story. Please make it. I don't need each one to end the same way every storyline in Genshin Impact ends, which is your main character going, "You guys want to help me set up some posters?" Because they're looking for their sibling, and the joke is that they set up like missing posters, and that's how every single big story arc ends, is them being like, "How can we ever repay you, traveler?" It's like, "Help me set up some posters."
Here's some milk carton help.
Please.
You said fucking Genshin Impact, and I imagined just anime twink mobsters. I was like, I don't need that, and then I just remembered the 7 Deadly Sins Genshin Impact with its really good swimming tech.
Ayaka Video Games is fucking pissed. She's got like a mobster hat and 2 Tommy guns.
Do I roll for these lobsters?
You might. Who knows?
Can I roll for Tommy?
What's up? What else do we got?
The last piece of news I got is today they announced the Mario Kart 8 DLC Wave 2. It's happening.
Baby.
August 4th. Weren't we talking about how it feels like it's been long enough for this to happen?
Yeah, that happened 1 week ago.
Okay.
We were like, based on their overall roadmap, that should be here by now. And then 1 week later.
And so they told us all the maps that are going to be in it. I'll go through those real quick.
Sure.
We got New York Minute from Tour, so who cares? Mario Kart, Mario Circuit 3 from the Super Nintendo. Calamari Desert from the 64.
Sure. Okay, that's a good one.
And of course, Waluigi Pinball.
That's
Here we go.
Hell yeah.
It is now the best Mario Kart game because it has what I've been waiting for 8 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's true. It's fucking weird that this wasn't here at launch. It was fucking weirder that it wasn't here for the deluxe DLC. It's fucking weird that it's only now finally in, but finally.
Yeah, at least it's only wave 2 of this.
Right?
Yeah, it debuted on the DS. And was on 7, that was on 3DS.
Yes.
I don't care. It should be in every one of these fucking games forever.
100%.
The other stages, we got Sydney Sprint from Tour.
Okay.
Snowlands from GBA.
All right.
Mushroom Gorge from the Wii.
That's a good level.
And a new level, Sky High Sunday, which looks like it's like you're racing on...
I saw that level, and the ice cream didn't look ice cream enough. If this was originally in the game, the ice cream would have looked more like ice cream.
Do you need a modder to come in and make the ice cream look more like grass?
I do need the modder to come in and make the ice cream look more like grass.
I need you to boil someone, because that will happen. We're going to... That tweet will appear, and I will... And if I find it, I'm sending him to you. Fucking hate those motherfuckers.
Waluigi Pinball, though. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. I think this is a really good wave.
Of wave 1, so I'm going to jump in on this wave 2 and just really soak in all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, there was some good stuff in wave 1. It felt like some of the courses were really short, but I guess those were the ones from Tour.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was really neat.
Yeah,
like I was watching Dan play like one of the cups and went, this is great. I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. It's like, oh no, it doesn't look visually good enough. I'm like, you're playing a fucking Nintendo game.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Let's not punch down here. You're playing a thing that's on an old phone.
Yeah, that's like when I saw people be like, "Oh man, look at Xenoblade Chronicles 3 compared to Final Fantasy 7 Remake." It's like, yeah, the hardware is completely different. I don't know what you expect.
What?
Yeah, the PS4 isn't a 7-year-old phone.
Look at my Tesla.
What are you talking about?
look at my Tesla compared to you and your fucking Hyundai Accent. And it's like, well, yeah, I can afford 4 of these for that price, right?
Yeah, the previous numbered title in portable mode was 345p. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I don't. Anyway, that's it for the news. KZ, what do you got going on in the next week?
Xenoblade 3 comes out, and I'm probably going to stream it every single fucking day.
Shock. I am shocked.
Wow.
But I'm gonna eat all those eggs like I did for Endwalker and Shin Megami Tensei 5. Though thank God it's not like Endwalker where I had to wake up at 8 a.m. like I'm going to school because the servers were that bad.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. Ugh.
Mr. Feel, what do you have going on in the next week?
I'll probably finish Nirvana Initiative, and other than that, I don't know.
We'll find out which end of the hack or brilliant it ends up on.
It'll probably I'll probably end up like walking both paths at once with my legs real far apart.
What?
Like doing the cowboy walk.
You're gonna do some fucking crab walking on this one.
You're gonna drop the stick in the middle of the road. It's gonna hit directly in the middle,
and then it just stands.
Yeah,
it just stands vertically for the rest of time.
Holy shit! Uchikoshi does it again.
From us in the next week, I need some personal time, so I'm going to be taking the next week off of streams. We won't be doing Saturday or Poke Mondays, but it seems like Bob will be streaming tomorrow, Friday. But I'll be back next week. Anyways, that's going to do it for Big Think today. Thank you all for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Podcasts such as these are only possible thanks to your support over at patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get access to certain movie commentary tracks and a lot of other content. So please head on over to patreon.com/gbpodcast today and become a patron. This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.